Hello everyone and welcome back to the Hearthstone Global Games. We've got one more match for you coming up today and Lorinda is going to be joining me for the last one. I'm looking forward to this one. It's going to be Netherlands versus Thailand, and as we said, it's pretty much today is, you know, Europe versus the Asia Pacific region.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay, yeah, you've not noticed.
Hadn't noticed that this was going on. It's just some Hearthstone matches between different countries, guys.
Good old global games. So, you know, what do you think? You know, we know a lot about Netherlands, and we can talk a lot about those guys in a minute. But in terms of Thailand, what do you make of this team? Because this team, again, I feel like for the broader Hearthstone audience, probably don't know a lot about the players. But there are actually some very prolific players on there.
Yeah, in particular, the Thailand team is another of these APAC nations that are really trying to form communities, really community orientated. That is why they have had majors over in Thailand. And yeah, these guys, especially Viper Pro, has been playing a lot. And I can never say his name properly, but Another Sai, he is been around for a long time in a lot of different games, a lot of different esports. And the reason he didn't get into Hearthstone, the reason he got into Hearthstone is because he's not a big fan of working with other people.
Interesting.
See how that works out for him in a team event.
Might not serve him well in a team event, although Thailand are actually 1-0 up in groups at the moment, so it seems to be going so far.
And I think he'll like the challenge as well. It's a different sort of working with others, this one, rather than, say, a MOBA or something like that. Yeah,
definitely. And you can see here some lovely shots of Amsterdam in the Netherlands. I've been there. Amsterdam is actually kind of awesome, so I definitely enjoy it. It's a place that I'm annoyed Sottle's not here, because we've started this thing now where Sottle's been to like every single country ever, and I've not, so I like the few ones I can get. And Thailand looks like a place I do want to visit as well pretty soon. Looks awesome.
Yeah, I'm sure you will get your chance at some point. Obviously, the Netherlands is the name of the country and not Holland, as I recently messed up. And I promised that I was going to learn a bit more about the country.
Tell us about it, Lorinda.
So here we go.
Here's a reading from Lorinda about the Netherlands.
First of all, though, let's go to somebody much more important to talk about the Netherlands. That is going to be Thijs.
Ik ben Thijs van Nederland en ik zeg hup Holland hup. I definitely think we have a squad that might not be favorite, might definitely not be the team that gets a lot of highlights, but I definitely think that we can be a surprising team. I think what it really might make us powerful is that we already know each other already for a long time. It makes the communication really easy, where we really can talk during the games really nicely, but also in conversations or getting together before we prepare for every match. We have really great communication, and everybody has been playing for 2-3 years. So I think that might make us a scary opponent. I kind of like the format in a way of that we are able now to do it with 4 players. You prepare 9 decks, like sometimes it takes days for these 9 decks. And at the end you don't play some, and some you just play once, and then it has to go a little your way sometimes too. So it's definitely a hard challenge to show everything that you practice in just one series. But yeah, it's just a really exciting format in a way of you are representing your country, you want to make your country happy. There is a little bit of nation pride and nations against each other, what really brings a totally different thing into Hearthstone, what I find really exciting. It's definitely a really tough group, but I think with our squad that we shall be able to get out of the group stage, and that's our goal.
Always nice to get some insight from the players, what they think of the format, how they approach the actual format itself. So they said, you know, they already know each other pretty well, the lot from the Netherlands, and they, you know, they spend a lot of time building the decks and putting them together and really working out exactly how they want to approach this. And it is, you know, Thijs as well almost needs no introduction at this point. He is a very prolific player, has been in the game, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think his breakout. I know. He originally came on the scene mainly as through winning multiple Gosu Cups, and also just there was I think it was like a Hearthhead King of the Hill that was running, and he won like 9 or 10 in a row. And
I'll defer to you on that one.
Oh,
okay.
Not
sure.
So basically, there was a series where it was just I think it was weekly, where, you know, there was just 2 pro players went at it, and it was King of the Hill, so winner stays on, and he won like 9 or 10 in a row. So that really stepped him out there. So it was awesome to see him, but also the team in general is looking pretty strong for the Netherlands, although they are currently 1-1 See the order they're going to be played. Team best of 5. Each player has 2 classes to choose from, only picking one for their best of 1 versus the opponent they have opposite. First team to 3 wins takes it, and it's going to be Tice, Theo, Tyler, and Mitsuhide versus Maxi, Another Z, Viper Pro, and I always want to call him Potato, even though that's not how his name's spelled, but just because it tickles me.
Yeah.
Tayo. And so yeah, all the classes up for the picks there, and Rogue was an option there for Tice.
Rogue was indeed an option. We've seen a lot of it today, and it's been going well again today. It seems to have gone like up and down throughout the meta, the Rogue, but as soon as people start to ignore it, it starts to bite them again.
Yeah, I think it almost feels like the Quest Rogue specifically is kind of like an evergreen deck that if people are expecting it, you can either do something about it, or in other tournament formats just ban Rogue and not worry about it. But the second, like you said, it kind of fades away, it'll just jump out of nowhere. But we aren't going to see it though. We are going to see Priest from Tice, and Machi is going to have the Mage. So hopefully it's the Mage deck I like, which is the Discover Mage.
I think that's the Mage deck at the moment.
Pretty much the only Mage that's played. There's always a chance that something else sort of comes out. We did see, not last week of course, but the week before, Subtle cast their Elemental Mage. So, there's always there's always a chance that something can pop out, but that was week 2 into the expansion, not week 4. So a lot of different there. You can see a lot of the crew from Thailand there getting ready to play, whereas Tice just chatting to his team whilst in the comfort of his own apartment. He spends a lot of time in that chair as he is a streamer.
He really does now, yeah.
Approximately 1,000 hours a day.
Which is half the amount that Tyler streams.
Yeah.
It's like an incredible streaming team.
If you just put Tice and Tyler's streaming hours together, you probably got more than most, just most people combined. It's absolutely...
You're trying to say they stream more hours together than there are in the day?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
quite
what
easily,
I think you're saying.
quite
Yeah.
easily.
Just to make good on my promise to the people I said I would learn about Holland. The Netherlands has got 12 different provinces. Only 2 of them, North Holland and South Holland, actually have the word Holland in them.
Okay.
The other 10 provinces are something else. But it was previously called, the Netherlands was called the Kingdom of Holland from 1806 to 1810, hence the confusion.
Okay, and
That's my excuse.
What is your favourite province?
North Holland.
North Holland, okay. Good to know. Always learning here at Hearthstone Global Games, and we're going to be going into the first game. Netherlands versus Thailand. Tice on the Priest on the top there, and Makji on the Mage. We can see Medi's Valet, we can see Cabal Courier. We got, or at least I got my wish, it is going to be what's known as the Mage. At the moment, also known as Discover Mage, the deck everyone's playing with quite a lot of success, I must add.
Yeah, it's been going well today. I do feel that at some point this deck just gets not the status it's got now. I feel that it's one of those decks that has cards like Cabal Courier in it that...
It's a good card, mate. So
over to Raven, guys, I'm off.
Yeah, if you don't know at home, me and Lorinda are polar opposites in almost every single thing in life. So any opinion Lorinda has about something, I will probably think the opposite as a natural thing. So it's looking pretty good.
Love Hearthstone, guys.
Well, that's just untrue, wasn't it?
See you, Raven.
that was
okay, so this is why Raven likes this deck. If you get Mana Worm early, which apparently I've heard Raven say once or twice today that he does.
Yeah, easy.
The deck seems pretty
Sometimes
good.
I even draw 2. It's even better. The one thing I will say is, though, if Priest gets control of this board and the Priest list, we can see that there's a Thought Steal in the opening hand here from Tice. Now the Shadow Visions. There is a way Priest can actually just heal for way too much. They kind of do the Freeze Mage thing. They just hold on to a Priest of the Feast. If you ever get them low, they just play Priest of the Feast in 10 spells, it feels like, and then they go back up to full. Like,
yeah, I mean, we were talking earlier with Sottle about just Voodoo Doctor being bounced a few times and Rogue was enough. Obviously, a totally different interaction of cards here, but if bouncing a Voodoo Doctor is enough, having a Hero Power plus Priest of the Feast plus other stuff, that's going to be enough as well.
Yeah, I think what's important here is if your glyphs can get either pyros or fireballs, make them 2 mana, so then you can go like fireball, fireball, fireball for 18 in one turn. So if you Alex, then they heal a bit, you can go for 18 in one turn and maybe 10 for another turn as well, and that outdoes the healing they can do. Or you can get off to a very quick start that they don't have an answer to.
Right, this is saving burn for later, basically, by doing damage with your Mana Worm now. Later on, you won't need as much stuff, in theory.
Binding Heal in hand as well. So Tice does have access to the tools that will just effectively make him just never die. The other key turn will be the Medivh turn. or the follow-up after the Medivh turn, should I say, that if the minions are big enough and they're just, for some reason, isn't an answer to the board, that is also just a lot of damage that Thais won't be able to deal with. But in general, I can see this being very, very difficult for Thailand here, unless they can make these mana worms work.
Yeah, the one problem I found when I've played this deck, which is nowhere near as much as you have, but if you do get the double mana worm start, you run out of cards a bit quickly if things go wrong. Obviously,
no, you just draw Arcane Intellect, Lorinda. This is clearly what you're doing wrong. I'll have to coach you on how to draw very well. We do see now the Shadow Visions get picked up, and Shadowword Pain, look, is actually pretty good here. You can coin it out, and oh, sorry, you can't coin it out. The Elemental's not down.
Yeah, we haven't played the Radiant Elemental yet, but it's when it comes down, you'll be able to coin out 1 mana cards.
Yeah, so the Pain is very important to stop this Mana Worm, because this Mage deck has a really sort of weird curve in that it has some early game.
Right.
Skips everything up until Medivh, and then relies on the minions you get from Medivh's weapon, Atiesh, and the Alex Raza.
Yeah,
and there's nothing in the middle.
It tries to do some damage, then it tries to not die, and then it does the rest of the damage.
Exactly.
And then if you're still in trouble, hey, here's Medivh, like, Hail Mary, good luck.
And if Thais can actually deal with this board early enough, then he probably puts himself in a very strong position, because then, you know, Makchi will do nothing for like 3 turns. Thais just draws a million cards, and he's like, okay, you will just never kill me now. I think Priest of the Feast, as we said, and some other cheap cards are going to be very important in probably 3 or 4 turns.
I mean, Thought Steal is actually going to be really good in this matchup as well, because you're going to steal stuff that kills the things that you've only got 2 Shadow Word Pain, Shadow Word Death.
Oh, no,
just steal a Fireball, and Fireball, whatever's causing you trouble, or Frostbolt.
Yep.
And you say this card advantage could get out of hand pretty rapidly here for the Netherlands.
Yeah, I do like this Valet being played here as
Glimmer
well.
Root as well. It really is the steeliest of Steel Priests.
Yeah, it's the filthiest of Priest decks. I'm still not sold on Glimmer Root, honestly. Everyone loves it, and I'm just...
I love it because I always think it's Discover.
You love it because I don't.
Yeah.
we've done this.
That's about right.
But yeah, I'm just not.
I don't know how great the card is. I just like the card. I think it's a fantastic design.
Oh, the design's awesome. I'll hold my hands up. But I just don't think the card is good enough. But that's just my humble opinion. What do I know about Priest? But there are some options now for Thais. Radiant Elemental combined with almost every single spell in his hand that you can cast after that.
And this is what you touched on right back at the start of the day with Radiant Elemental. Costing 1 less isn't that amazing, but because all of the cards in Priest cost so little, the cumulative effect is you can end up casting 2 or even 3 more spells in 1 turn, even without the synergies, obviously, with, say, Lyra.
Yeah, once you combo it with Lyra, it's just kind of ridiculous. But see? Arcane Intellect, like I said, I told you. This is exactly... Makchi's doing a good job here on exactly how you're supposed to play.
I would have drawn Alex Straza there.
Well, that's why you lose, Lauren.
That's not the only reason. Anyway, this is an interesting decision, actually, because obviously needs to take care of that Radiant Elemental, need to refill the hand, so the obvious decision is to just bump them both in an Arcane Intellect, but then you're just losing to Potion.
Yeah, it's definitely an awkward one, actually. At this point, you could even just Fireball.
Yeah, I think that's something they're actually considering, just to keep the momentum going. As they have the Arcane Intellect in hand, then they'll be able to Intellect and Frostbolt or Ping, depending if they pick one up or not next turn. Maybe that's the way forward, just Fireball a 2-3.
I think it depends how confident you are, though, in what Thais' hand looks like. He is only on 4 mana, 5 with a coin, of course. Like, even with a Radiant Elemental down, how much can you do with that much mana that's going to hurt you that much, right? It's going to go for the Ping.
Long-term, super greedy, getting the most out of the Ping, so not even casting the Intellect this turn. And that's basically like something like half a card they just gained. They're talking half cards just to confuse people.
Yeah.
If you do that twice, you gain about a card.
Yeah, and then it solves the curve problem as well. You can just Arcane Select at worst Ping next turn.
Right, this is not a Discover. One of these cards is in the deck, which means they're not playing a Flame Strike, which is a good bit of information for Thais to pick up on here. Yeah,
that's actually huge. That's actually crazy. Although, glyphs are cards, right? So you can glyph into a 5-mana Flame Strike, so who cares?
Right, but it's just, they now know. But the other thing that they can use, given there's 4 people on the team here, it's not just Thais on his own, somebody's now going to be working out, so there's no Flame Strikes, which card's in that gap?
Yeah,
what have we got to work out? What have we got to watch out for that might surprise us, given they've skimmed a slot somewhere?
Well, for example, there's Elise. Could be in there as well. Elise is a card that definitely a lot of people have been trying.
Volk Potion,
yeah. I've not tried Elise yet, personally. I do think it's probably good.
In this particular matchup, it's
in this
really
particular
good.
matchup, it's great. But I just wonder if, like, is it better than a Flame Strike? Like, that's my worry. I'm not saying that is the swap, but it could be.
I'm surprised you don't just play a second Pyro.
That's what glyphs are for. You get 8 mana pyros. Lorinda, honestly, you just need to learn this deck, man.
You can teach me all this tonight. I'll
Yeah.
be playing it all night, and you know, I'll be fully versed in top decking exactly the right.
I'm not gonna lie. The amount of time I've gone, well, I need to draw a fireball to win, and I just draw a fireball, and you're like, yeah, get him.
I've been doing it all wrong all these years.
There's Alex Straza. Ice barrier as well.
So at what point do you look at your hand and go, actually, this is now a freeze mage hand?
Not yet, because you need way more burn,
Right.
I think. I think at the moment, you decide to take the game very slowly because you have nothing at all this turn
Right.
to develop. So the ping, not a surprise here from MacG. And then even Blood Mage isn't really a card you want to just drop because of cards like Potion of Madness, for example, could be
Right.
a bit of a pain.
So you might end up pinging that yourself the turn you play it, just to stop it
Potentially,
getting,
yeah.
just to stop your opponents getting the card from it.
Yeah, but wouldn't you be surprised if even if next turn there's just like Ice Barrier ping,
Ties.
so you piece together the damage, none of it matters. Maybe you even just wait till you Medivh and then go.
Just like to comment on how disgusting that was from Ties there. Basically turns the non-arcane intellect into a real arcane intellect and gets a bonus
And
2,
draws an
3.
extra card, yeah. Okay, so the Vault Potion is in the deck, as we can see. It's going to be drawn. No clean answer here. Now you can probably play the Blood Mage because there's no card for it to
run
go into.
Yep.
And if it gets stolen, well, it's not going to trade into anything. Or, you know, if they go Potion of Madness, Shadow Word, Pain the Blood Mage, you're like, you know what?
Is there
You-
any
you
hurry
do
though?
you,
Could
friend.
you save the Blood Mage and the Volcanic Potion until maybe there's another card play for the Priest and just do 3 damage to a couple of things?
You could do, yeah. I'm just wondering, is there a lot of stuff that does the 3 damage? I know that probably another Glimmer Root, for example.
Right.
Maybe a Cleric without a powered shield. So there's definitely, something to consider here.
Given that they decided to, right from the start here, with that extra ping on turn 4 to set out for maximum greed, maybe they're just going to sit there and say, you know what, I can take 2 a few times.
Well, I mean...
Play the Ice Barrier because I can, maybe.
Yeah, like I said before, the Vault Potion was even drawn. Ice Barrier Ping is probably just okay because you've got eyes on Medivh. By the time Medivh's played, you've probably drawn more high-cost spells like Violence Paul.
Choosing
So-
to ping the face there just to point out.
Yeah,
of course,
yeah.
North Cleric's a thing,
Yeah.
as well as the health total, so you don't want them to be heal it back up and draw a card.
That's scary. At least being drawn for Tice.
I love how you just cheer for whoever is playing the mage.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. Just like Hunter. The only time I'm truly happy is when there's a Hunter mirror.
Give it another year, we'll have you a full lineup, Raven.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
have fair
yeah. I'm
tournament.
up to 2 classes so far, I like. Elise being drawn now is very, very good for Tice here. This is just an awkward card for the mage to deal with, outside of a Violence Portal, which would be on curve for Team Thailand here. So there is a consideration to not just drop Elise for it to be
Right,
portaled.
the other thing is if Tice feels this game is going to go a very, very long time and that Elise wouldn't get the job done, there is that consideration of just playing it very late and then playing the Shadow Visions and guaranteeing yourself an extra pack.
Yeah.
Probably won't happen here, but if Tice evaluates that, hey, we can go this long, if he doesn't play Elise now, he might not play her for 10 turns.
Yeah, a lot of time as well, you do want to... doesn't happen often, but if you Elise, you kind of want to Visions the same turn as well, because
Yeah.
if you don't, you can draw the pack.
That's what I'm saying, yeah, you sort of want to go
"Ah."
Elise as late as possible so you can Visions and have fewer things to get the pack from. But deciding that making a 5-5 right now is pretty important because that's 7 attack on board and it needs dealing with, and
Ooh.
obviously that makes a lot of sense.
Yep, this glyph is pretty reasonable. This glyph can kind of set up for the Medivh turn later on.
Yeah.
You can get something like Meteor as well, which even it would be 4 mana, a 4-drop is just okay.
Yeah, it's a meteor form of damage than just your other stuff.
It is. It is. Good. Nice work, Lorena. So, from other glyph coming out now. And the options, does that have Blizzard? 4 mana Blizzard is normally a reasonable card. 1 mana Nova, 1 mana Vaporize. Vaporize, not too amazing. I definitely would like the Blizzard here. But again, a great card to follow up the Medivh. Then you freeze the board and create at least a 4/4,
Yeah.
and you have 5 mana
So
left.
you're just going with almost the same as when you used to pick like 10, anything can happen.
Yeah.
Paladin, just get the biggest
Well, if-
thing that can do the most Medivh work.
Yeah, if you think you go Medivh, and then say Medivh gets cleared and there's still some board for the Priest, you could go Volk Potion into Blizzard.
Right.
It probably clears most of the board and freezes what you don't
And
clear.
you've still got Blood
plays
Mage
2
as well.
minions. Yeah. Just gonna go for a straight up Fireball into Elise. So not as clean as a Violence Paul here, so Ty's probably gonna be reasonably happy with this.
Yeah, I think Ty's, he's obviously in a decent spot right now, but nothing's happening. He'd probably want to have another minion stick to the board just to try and deliver 4 or 5 a turn. Because at the moment, the mage is able to It's that thing we were talking about earlier with Sottle, is able to get the maximum value out of all their cards because they're under no pressure, so they can just pick things off at their leisure.
I think Shadow Vision is going to be a play this turn. It's either that or just heal, poke him in the face for 2 and pass.
They might shield first just to make sure there's. I guess you.
I'm just worried about
Lyra.
Lyra.
You don't want to draw the pack, yeah.
Yeah, and
and
Lyra as well. If you draw Lyra with this hand, you're feeling pretty good about Lyra.
You really are off to.
Feeling pretty good about Lyra. It's Shadow Vision's into another pack feels good to me.
Okay,
Got him.
see if they get it. They got it. That's a
There
whole
you go.
bunch of stuff. And now they can do what they like because they're going to open
Close your eyes.
everybody's favourite thing, just opening packs.
Yep.
Shame you don't get to keep the cards.
I got a, you know, I disenchanted the other day. You know the what's the 4-mana 3/3 that creates a copy, that 1/1 copy when you play a spell on it?
Yeah, that card.
Oh, you don't know. Shocking. That's what happens when you stop playing Arena.
I used to know all of the cards that nobody had heard of, and nobody cared.
I got
so
that in Golden and was like, you know what? This looks like dust towards crafting myself a Golden Medivh. Disenchant.
I need to learn the name of that card very, very soon. I'll have it done by tomorrow, guys. So then we can all laugh at Raven when it becomes a mainstream wild card.
Just craft it again, it'll be fine. Ungoro pack is available, but this is something you have to kind of manage as there is a lot of cards in hand and you open 5. So Shadow of Death probably going to land onto the Medivh here just to kill up this, clear the 7/7. But again, like, look at this now with Meteor. It's actually a really nice card to follow up Medivh. Like, with the Shadow of Death, there's probably not going to be that much minion development. You just Meteor whatever's alive. The 2/3 cleans up very nicely with the, you know, the splash damage from the Meteor as well. And you put a 6-mana minion on the board, which feels pretty good.
One of the things that people have been talking about is Hearthstone being more skillful because the games are longer. Is that another release?
Oh my lord, Elise, please. Not like this. Elise
Another
to
Elise. But it's not so much that the games are longer that it's more skillful, but both players have a lot more cards in hand all the time, so there's more decisions. It's not necessarily how many decisions, how hard they are.
Yeah.
And right now, game is hard.
Okay, Thailand are just saying, let's go. There's no direct burn in hand, but let's do this. And the main thing here, Shadow of Death was used.
Yep.
So now with Medivh gone, the Alex Straza feels much safer because of that one death is out the window. We can see there's a ton of value in Ty's hand and a ton of heal as well, but still no Priest of the Feast, still no Lyra, so nothing too crazy, and there's still 3 charges of the Atiesh equipped for Makji here.
And we can also see that Thailand have no burn in hand, but Thais can't see that, and he's worried right now.
Yeah,
he's like, we're going to die in 2 turns.
Yeah.
How do I heal up? So he's going to start using cards inefficiently on the back of this, just to make sure he doesn't die, which he doesn't need to do. If he could see the hand, he'd just carry on playing Hearthstone.
Could just die this turn. Bear in mind, there's 1 glyph card in hand. It could just be Fireball, like Fireball, Frostball, or something. You know, like, it could be crazy.
It's a shame the camera's not on me at the moment because I'm just rolling my eyes at Raven. But you're right, of course.
Yeah, I was going rolling your eyes at a completely legitimate point as to think about the damage potential. I've 18'd a lot of people with this deck, okay? Sometimes even more.
So have I, but usually over the course of the whole game.
Yeah, I'm a one turn
so
18, man.
Keeping their Pyro alive whilst healing a bit and clearing the board seems like a really strong play.
Didn't go for the binding heal. Interesting. I thought, like...
Again, that's a nod to Lyra, maybe. The 17 seems a lot safer than where they were.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. He has 10 mana next turn, so he does have a lot of wiggle room anyway. I just like Meteor. Meteor onto the 3/3 go. You want the 6-drop? This is one of the things you do have to manage.
Right,
It's just like managing
aside.
the Atiesh durability is actually one of the hardest parts of
It
the
really
deck,
is, because you often end up with like Coin and Arcane Intellect and stuff you really want to play,
well,
but
the thing is,
it's garbage.
I said Meteor. There's a good chunk of me that wasn't even joking.
No, I
like,
realised, I understand.
You kill the minion that's buffed and can cause you some trouble, especially if like Cleric starts coming out, you know, it can be a huge problem, and you get a 6-drop, and then you can do other things. Maybe
so you really want to draw, so you want to Arcane Intellect, but you don't want a 3-drop. So is this the time to maybe play the Blood Mage, and again, maybe even do the Meteor? I think you probably wait on that.
Yeah, you can probably get away with it. You could just Blood Mage into Blizzard if you really wanted to. You know, 4-drop is still not terrible. Okay, what's the 3-drop? I'll do a little mana time.
That'll do.
Okay.
They need cards, so...
Go for Fireball.
And there's a clue to Ties. That Fireball hasn't gone face. Yeah, and Ties is looking... Oh, you haven't got it?
No, but he's got a 6-attack minion. This Worgen has the coolest hair in Hearthstone, in my opinion. Maybe next to Medivh, but he is styling that hair like a boss.
You'd know, Raven.
Exactly, yeah.
I know you are probably the best hair judge in all of Hearthstone casting, and I shall definitely defer to you. Until Orange tells me otherwise.
Oh, I taught Orange everything he knows.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so 2 Tar Creepers, the Tortolan in hand as well. There's plenty of Taunt options for Tice. And this is one of the nice defensive capabilities here that he has available now, because when you go for the Atiesh with the Medivh, this whole threat is the fact that the minions push damage you're not allowed to have, technically.
Right.
You know, a lot of your damage is spell-based, and then random minions that sometimes could be like Leroy Jenkins, for example, you know what I mean?
Baron Geddon!
Yeah, damage you're just not supposed to have, right? So this 6/3 is actually a bit of a threat, considering Pyroblast is a card, considering there's still potentially a Fireball or, you know, any other form
And
of
the play from Alex Strauss that Ty still isn't really sure what was going on there, because one reason for fireballing last time might have just been they've got another one. I think Ty's may have cottoned on to the fact that there isn't actually lethal here, but he's still got to be aware of the fact that there could be some shenanigans going on, I think.
Ooh. Nice Meteor placement going on.
Yep.
Otherwise, Meteor plus Volk Potion would have been pretty decent. Still going to be a Meteor, I think, this turn, though. And is that a natural Frost Nova? It is, right?
Yeah.
There's no way...
They drew it off the Arcane Intellect, I'm almost certain.
Yeah, so Frost Nova, maybe instead of the Flame Strike, for example. Frost Nova is not a standard card in this list.
Right.
So Frost Nova is one of the cards that may have been
So maybe they've got a little bit more freeze style with it.
Yeah, and I think just...
Or freestyle.
More defensive earlier, right? Because Pirate Warrior, who cares about Flame Strike most of the time? You're dead.
Right.
You've either already won by turn 7, or you're dead. So, but a Frost Nova, on the other hand, that changes things, right? So, looks like Team Thailand are actually going a little bit more defensive. Again, the Ooze, another nod, because Ooze was in the original sort of... I think Gunther's original version of this list, but again, it's a card that has been dropping out because people just aren't facing that many weapon decks at the moment. Do you see the old spell damage, which opens up the ping onto the Meteor as well? 16 and a 4, glorious animation, gets the ping, and a nice 5/5 for his trouble. This board is susceptible to the Dragonfire Potion we can see in Tice's hand.
Always nice when you can play Shaman as Mage, though.
Yeah, this Magi being very, very nice. Look at the hand size here. The only worry is, Alex Strauss is gone. Medivh's gone. There's the Firelands portals realistically left, and anything that's got from Cabal Courier that are the impact cards. Outside of those, let's be honest, none of these do anything.
What are we going to glyph into? That's what it's all about.
So we glyph into just Pyro, right?
Right, just Pyro.
Cabal Courier, though, can open up tons of options. You can just get Lyra, for example, from Courier. You know, Courier's on one hand better, on one hand worse than Glyph. It's worse because it doesn't reduce the cost.
You can also get Kazakus, right? Which actually turns out to be quite good
at this point in the game.
Late in the game when you've used most of your stuff.
That's Glyph as well.
So all the discovers, all the toolboxes are coming now. Now it's a case to see if they've packed the right tools.
Yeah.
Or if it's all on the home on the sideboard.
More than likely.
Ty's still a little bit nervous about his health total from that weird Alex from where he sat earlier in the game.
Yep, he's just going to heal. Don't blame him here. Like, dropping Glimmer Root doesn't really change much. Like, your opponent's on 30. 3 next turn isn't going to really change the outcome of this game, I feel.
And this is what's weird about this particular matchup is who has been the defender has alternated several times during the course of the game, like you said at the start. The mage starts off as the attacker, then it becomes the attacker again, and somewhere in the middle it kind of dilly-dallies around, and that's exactly what we've seen happening here. Yeah,
and it's controlling when to basically put the foot down as this mage. It is actually the key, I think. Archaeologist into a secret into Medi's Valet to kill off the cleric feels pretty good.
And we're now seeing why that binding heal was kept all those turns ago, by the way, because now it's a surprise value.
Yeah.
The Thailand have no idea how much damage they need to do in how many turns to win this game. They can't just go all in with some burn and hope for the best. It won't work.
Maybe even the Ooze this turn. Or Courier. Has 3 mana dropping around. You don't really need to play the Glyph this turn.
Might have to keep the Ooze because... Oh, you've seen the pack. You've seen the pack over. There might be a weapon chilling out there. Or...
Yeah. But the Ooze is 3 attack, right? You know, like, it's actually just putting on a lot of pressure. Obviously, only 1 more than the Courier. So you could just play the Courier anyway, not the end of the world.
Let's see what they get from the Discover.
Demon Fire, Sorcerer, Purify. Ooh, these are not cards you want. Sorcerer's fine, but not good. Oh, pack number 2. One more pack, and we'll be matching the celebration of 70 million Hearthstone players.
70 million Hearthstone players.
It's definitely a few.
Standard Archers beat them all.
Probably, yeah.
At some point.
A casual 70 million wins, one versus everybody in the world.
Busting the pack must be tempting here. The rest of the options don't look that enticing. Especially if they know there's no Flame Strike to pick up.
Was that a purposeful pun?
Yeah, of course it was.
Yeah, I was just checking. You didn't. Your facial expressions didn't change.
My facial expressions never change.
They just grumpy 100% of the time.
Yep.
Angoro pack opens. What are we gonna get now? Legendaries?
Epic.
Oh, there it is! That's the card I got.
Vorax.
That's it, Vorax.
Do I know what it's called now? It's in front of me. I can't see the words on
it.
it.
It's called now. We cheated. Is that a? What's this one? I can't see it properly.
What's this one? Which one?
The 3-mana one.
Oh, it's an English Elemental and a...
Oh, it's a Spirit Echo.
Spirit Echo,
Whoa,
yeah.
that's a bit of a big deal, actually. You can at least Spirit Echo.
Oh, infinite Elise
get
value that
comfortable.
Soto likes to talk
Yeah,
about.
this is only game 1 of Netherlands versus Thailand.
And already we've gone from 70 million to 100 million. They're going to get 4 packs out of this.
Yeah. Not too shabby at all.
Meanwhile, though, despite all the value they've been getting, the Netherlands, there is this sort of sneaky danger of death starting to loom upon them.
Yeah.
You know, from that Alex Stars all that time ago, they've never really had time to heal themselves up massively. And slowly but surely, Thailand have been accumulating that damage in their hand.
Well, if you look at the way this hand kind of looks, you could look at potentially the Sorcerer with Blizzard this turn.
Right.
And then just Frostbolt ping face and go face, right? Just push a bit of damage, then you have Violence Portal next turn and potentially another burn spell. Or Glyph into, say, Frostbolt or, you know, so on, so on, so on. You have a lot of options in the following turn. And also, you just test the water into how much healing Tice has. Because
yes, that's the main problem
this
right
aggressive
now.
play, he either heals or he doesn't, right? If he doesn't heal, then he's either not got it or he's being very risky. Or if he does heal, you can then, again, make further judgments going
There
forward.
we go. Close look at the Vorax there. After you cast on this minion, did I say the word there? Summon a 1/1 plant and cast another copy on it. That's nothing like what you told me you opened.
Because when you cast a spell on it, it creates a 1/1.
I can see that now, but if you told me that, I don't know what it was called.
Oh, whatever. He's going to go for the Nova instead
Put
of
it in
the
my
Blizzard.
Kaleidosaur deck.
Lorinda, please.
The last Kaleidosaur.
Please be serious.
Okay.
Another, because I'm not, basically, so we have
So
to...
someone
we have
has to
judge
be.
each other out, yeah.
Sure.
Dragonfire Potion could clear up the board, but does more damage to Tyson really helps at this point. Does need to think about healing, though, and this is why I would have liked the Frostbolt
can he?
push.
Needs to injure the Vorax, right? Because then he can heal for 10. With the Binding Heal. Does it work like that?
Well, we could find out.
We've just read the card and neither of us know if it works.
Well, look.
Can you heal another damage 1/1?
Sometimes it does work. Sometimes in Hearthstone, the card text doesn't tell you everything you need to know, okay? Sometimes there's experimentation required, but we have got
I
confidence.
may have
that
had
it does heal.
accidents with priest heals before, but I'm getting it right this time, I'm pretty sure.
Slight. Yeah, it's going to bind and heal. Get the +10.
Yes! See? I knew. And now he can Dragonfire Potion and clear this board back to 25 health. And the Glimmer... Just putting stuff on the table now.
A bit close. Oh, Mana Worm, yep.
Mana Worm. Slowly but surely becoming the mage.
Is that double Frost Nova?
It is.
Deck?
Yeah, I'm
That
pretty
blows
sure he
my
did the first
mind.
one.
Like, that feels too stally for my liking. If Thailand have removed any burn from this deck for Frost Novas, I'm going to be upset. We're not going to be friends anymore.
Well, we know there's no Flame Strike in the deck.
Yeah.
So that's one of them, so you can still be friends at least half the time.
Yeah. We saw the volcano. Oh no, the volcano.
The Meteor.
Volcano. I did this last night. The Meteor was actually glyphed, right?
Right.
So, I think it was. Huh, interesting. Okay.
They are starting to run out of things now, Thailand. A minute ago, the damage was accumulating, but suddenly, now that Thais has healed for 10, the damage they've accumulated is looking a little bit less menacing.
Yeah, so at the moment, off the top of my head, they have the Firelands and Frostbolt in hand. They have another Firelands, probably a Pyroblast at least. So that's like 23 damage available. But the problem is, with all this healing that Thais and Team Netherlands can continue to put out, even just through hero power at the moment, that actually pushes them out of range over the course of a few turns. Shadow Word Pain going to be very useful to clear up this Sorcerer as well.
Yeah, just showing how these packs are starting to mount up now. Showing how good the mage deck is as well, actually, to fend them off this long. But the card advantage is starting to tell. Suddenly, Thailand's hand is some bits and pieces, which a minute ago looked like menacing burn. And Thai's kind of has another pack if he wants it to go into the deck. He also can just make minions. He can do a lot of things at his leisure right now.
Yeah, the issue here is it was just always going to be about the healing. Because the deck does have a kind of finite amount of damage that it can do, and because of, you know, for example, plus 10 from that binding heal was very, very nice for Tyson. Imagine if Tyson was currently on like 20 instead of 25. That suddenly looks a little bit more doable. But now with a heal every turn as well, this is kind of rough. Elise, which is going to be pack number 3 of the game, into the deck.
Shuffle that pack into your deck. Just ready for more stuff later if needed. And that enables them to just stall out, because look at the deck size now of Thailand. It is almost all gone.
Thailand's Frostbolt can be used to clear up this board and develop a minion, but this minion is going to have to be quite fantastic to be able to help push through enough damage, as this is looking progressively more grim for Thailand now. I think I have Thailand's first, just in case.
And every single time one of these doesn't go to face, it's just less ways to win the game. They need a good minion to come off this. That's good, but it's not good enough, I feel.
Why is that minion good against Priest, Lorinda?
Because it's really good. I know the answer,
Great
but I'm not saying it. I'll let chat tell everybody why this minion is really good. And you can put the money into the Priest meme jar.
Okay, well, Radiant Elemental, Igneous Elemental as well, available for Ties. Igneous Elemental not really going to do too much, although at the end of the day is just kind of more value to just chip away at the damage. I'm surprised Ties didn't try and get the old Spirit Echoes with Elise down on the same turn, just because that is, you just win, right? You know, the value game. We've already had 3 packs. If you Spirit Echoes Elise again, you just win that thing. You
never have enough packs.
5/5s.
But you're right, yeah.
You play with the 5/5s and just continue to generate value. Mana Bind going to be nice as well, because almost all the spells left are pretty valuable for Tice to have.
Maybe they're saving the Spirit Echo for live, but no, they're just going to play it now on some smaller stuff so they can populate the board quickly in one go. Because this is quite a lot of stuff, to be fair.
Pyro Face, go. No, I'm joking. You do have to go Violence here, I think. Maybe you actually just go Blizzard instead. Push for 5.
Can you Violence Face Frost Nova go? And then Blizzard next turn and hit them again?
My thing about Blizzard... oh, no, you can... Yeah, that could work. Yeah,
just to get some minions on the board,
minions, right? Like, that's the trick.
Get some stuff on the board and try and hit your opponents in the face 2 or 3 times and play it like Freeze Mage, except your win condition is your minions, not your burn, and then you've got that Pyroblast backup.
The secret that Tice has equipped is, in fact, Mana Bind as well, which means that, if Violence Portal comes out first, even Nova, even Nova, right? Tice gets a 0 mana Nova, and that will just stall anyway. So that kind of helps Tice no matter what the spell was. Especially considering we can see the ones in Thailand's hand here.
Looks like Thailand are taking this line, though, where they're going to try and force through 2 attacks with decent minions. I bet they're not playing many Murlocs in this deck.
I've heard they're playing the War Leader Bluegill variant.
People tell me that Finja is broken, but it doesn't seem very broken right now.
Not right now, no. It is still reasonably like a stealth minion, I guess. I guess you'd just rather have any other minion with more stats, right?
Basically any other minion apart from Doppelgangster at this point, I think would have been good.
Oh man, the amount of Doppelgangsters I roll is kind of ridiculous.
I thought you rolled perfectly every time.
Not every time, just most of the time. You're allowed one bad roll now.
Tice has the option to just play Priest of Feast, Frost Nova back. Just get your own back now.
Even just Holy Nova heal as well.
Yeah.
Like, why not? Just push the... There's no Alexstrasza, so you just push the game further and further out of reach.
Yeah, they're going to Holy Nova heal.
He can wait on the Holy Nova, he doesn't have to.
Sure. 23 seems reasonable at this point. All about what those extra cards might be in Thailand's deck. Have we seen both fireballs? I feel like we've only seen one.
I think we've seen one.
And it was used to burn something pretty early.
The Elise. First Elise.
Well, Korea, this could be a big deal, though.
This needs to be something glorious.
Glorious.
Yeah, I don't even know what it could be, to be honest. This needs to be, like...
Elise.
Antonidas.
You can't get
Oh, no. And Antonidas. What else? Lyra, maybe. This needs to be something huge to be able to win this game. Circle of Healing is not. Counterspell is not. Void Terror is not. So, well, Void Terror can become huge, but not in the right way.
Yeah, that's pretty much garbage, right?
Yes.
Maybe take the counterspell to prevent some healing later on, but it's not really going to get the job done.
Nope. You're kind of just worried about the board state. You just, how do you ever kill him through the hero power from the priest? Never mind anything else at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, Pyro's going to get away from you as well. Ty's never seems to lose excitement with the game, does he? He's played this game solidly as a pro for 3 years. He's always a ball of energy when he's playing.
Some of us like the game, Lorinda.
I love Hearthstone. Just like the players as well, like working out who's good and why they're good. And Ty's is his ability to keep interested in the game for huge periods of time and excited about it, which are two different things.
Whereas Machi's probably not too excited about this game. This has been dragging on for quite a while, and I say that, you know, it sounds kind of negative, but I mean dragging on by the fact that Machi's actually running out of resources to end the game, and the longer the game goes on, the better it is for Tice and the Priest deck.
It is a pleasing way to win a game sometimes, when you know you've gone through the worst, now you've got the victory trot of just waiting until you actually run them out of every single thing they could ever do to you.
Yep, it's just getting worse and worse for Thailand here, depending on what they have.
Yeah, health total's going up against
so that's what I mean.
Mage.
Like, oh, there you go, almost like one more card. Archaeologist, not what you want to see at this point.
Especially as the last card might well be Ice Block. Have we?
Yeah, it's Ice Block, right?
If they're playing two, I think it's Ice Block.
Yeah, it's Ice Block.
Assuming they're playing
they
two.
must have used both.
Unless they've cut one.
No, you can't.
I know you can't cut one, but hey.
Don't.
Yeah, he's going to play. He's smiling, so he knows it's Ice Block. There we go. Had you worried?
Pretty sure it's going to be a concede, as there is no way that Machi can win. There's also still an Ungoro pack in Tyson's deck for an additional 15 cards total was played into Tyson's deck one way or another this game.
And they needed most of them, to be fair.
Yeah, well, we saw the power of the Mage deck there, continued to pile on a lot of pressure, but after Alexstrasza, after Medivh, if you don't make something good work then, or if your opponent's not completely out of resources, yeah, you could probably lose at that point, but Netherlands do go to a 1-0 victory with Thijs rocking the Priest. And yeah, again, like the Priest didn't really... Its main goal was to just not dive. It was very much like a freeze mage.
Yeah, that Alexstrasza turn could have been really menacing, but they never drew any follow-up quickly enough, and Thijs was alert to a potential threat that wasn't there. It looked like they'd get some value out of that play, but in the end, there wasn't actually a threat. So Thijs realised that the next turn when a minion got fireballed, and he was able to just freewheel from that point onwards. Yeah. And it looks like we're going to get some more mage action.
Yeah, it's going to be Theo versus another C on the mage versus a warrior. Again, so many times I feel like we should be seeing Pirate Warrior, but you know, at the moment it's actually just edging more towards like Taunt Warrior, Taunt Warrior, Taunt Warrior, Taunt Warrior. And if it is the Taunt Warrior deck, then I believe that another Z is in a rough spot if this is the Discover Mage with Theo.
And if it's Pirates, how does that one play out, do you feel?
That all depends on how the deck's built.
Double Frost Nova, apparently.
I think a lot of it is it swings really hard one way or the other. Sure. If you get early glyphs and you can glyph into, you know, a volcanic potion, frost bolts, fireballs to just stop the minions, fine. If you glyph into or get up an ice block somehow early on, then you may use valets with ping do really well versus the 4 health like the Frothing Berserker. So you can fight against Pirate Warrior very effectively. Self Alexstrasza normally wins the game unless you're not just straight up dead to it as well. So there are ways to win, but Pirate Warrior is Pirate Warrior, right? You can just, the second you draw like Medivh and 2 fireballs as your opening hand, you just lose that game. You're just dead.
I mean, Thailand threw a nod to that, right? With the volcanic potion there, the double Frost Nova. I think it was double. It was at least one, and I think it was two. I don't think either of them came from a glyph. Just showing that, hey, we think this deck is so good that in this environment we can cut some bits and cut some corners a little bit, and hope we don't run into a value-orientated game, which is exactly what they ran into, of course.
Yeah, it's definitely a rough one, but we are going to see what the Mage does now for Netherlands. Did have a loss, for Thailand, but now Theo's going to be playing his version. It'd be good to see how it's built. I was interested to see how these decks go, as even though there's a sort of a core list with mainly 1 to 2 slots to change over, we've been seeing more and more cards changed up. So I believe the players are just getting ready now. And, what do you know of another Z from Thailand here? I think he's one of the slightly quieter players.
Yeah, he's done a lot of stuff regarding Blizzard games. He's just always played Blizzard games for as long as he's been around. He played Lost Vikings 2, Diablo, Warcraft 2 and 3. And like I said earlier, he was playing MOBAs, and then he sort of found that he didn't like playing in teams much because people.
Okay.
I know how it feels.
I'll explain that in different terms.
Oh, okay.
When you play a 1v1 game, the only person you can blame is yourself, which means that you can carry yourself, right?
Yeah.
You either, if you lose,
and you can blame yourself. You don't get angry at anyone else but yourself.
Well,
and so on.
Yeah, and it means that if you improve, then your gameplay will improve overall. Whereas in other team-based games, you can feel it very easily to blame other people, which is why sometimes 1v1 games are the best.
But in Hearthstone, I don't think it will be a problem for him because you tend to reach a decision between you, and the help is more of the nature of, have you seen this? Have you evaluated this?
Yeah, and Pirate Warrior is going to be the deck. It's not going to be Taunt Warrior. We waited till Sottle was off the desk to bring out the old Pirates. Another Z on the Pirate Warrior for Thailand. Theo on what obviously appears to be the Discover Mage. Nothing too crazy. There's a chance it's Freeze Mage, but we'll see as time goes on.
Theo, by the way, is a grindy player. Like, not many people know a lot about him, but he's qualified for HCT before prelims, did okay there, 1, 2, and 2, I think. He also plays a lot of Firesides and has won, unsurprisingly, pro player goes to Fireside, wins them. Won quite a lot of
Even
Firesides.
I can win a Fireside. I mean,
yeah, but you live in the UK, not the Netherlands.
Yeah, UK's harder, right?
I will let you interview George C about that one at some point. And so, yeah, he's probably the least known player on this team, but he is definitely no slouch. And again, these players will all be communicating. Just keep emphasizing that point for you.
Yeah, and a Spell Breaker in another's Pirate Warrior just to bust through those taunts.
We've seen more and more taunt busting mechanisms over the last couple of
I mean, it's
matches.
reasonable. We've seen a lot of Taunt Warrior.
Yeah.
And also decks just liking the Tar Creeper, and also Control Shaman is a card that keeps popping up now. So Jade Druid plays Tar Creepers, and the odd Druid at the Claw, the Behemoth as well. Sometimes you're okay as Pirate Warrior to just pay the mana and ignore that minion.
Sometimes you just need to kill the Boogie Monster.
Yeah, well, sure.
As happened earlier.
Yeah, I was watching. So look at the opening here for another Z. It's nothing too crazy at this point, but in the Zos first mate into coin deckhand is definitely going to be fast enough, at least to provide some thoughts to Theo as to how he needs to defend this, because at the moment, he's just got the Archaeologist turn 2. Or pink, but I think you need the Archaeologist out here.
Yeah, really looking rough for the Netherlands here. Sometimes against Pirates, you just can't do much. But these early turns are so important to plan. Ideally, you want to get the Ice Block down and then play Valet and Archaeologist on the same turn. But have you got the time? You've got to sit there and think, well, if I ping the 2-1 now, then next turn I can play the block and eat whatever damage there is, but it might not be that much because Pirates can't do a huge amount on turn 2, usually. Yeah. And then turn 3, I can actually shoot something out the sky in my Valet, maybe even have the opportunity to save that to ping down a Frothing Berserker or something. So lots of options here, but they need to weigh up if they can ping this 2-1 is the short version of that.
Definitely a lot to consider. I would personally like getting the Archaeologist down, because it means you could even go for an Ice Barrier after the Valet turn, which is really nice. But it looks like Theo wants to ping off the deckhand instead, so Mortal Strike drawn for Thailand.
Very, very awkward turn here. It's not awkward, you play Fiery War Axe, but you want to make it look like you've got more than that to do.
Yeah.
And it makes the next turn awkward as well, is a problem, because the Corsair will cost 1 and they'll have 2 mana left over again, and no War Axe. It'll be the same turn, but worse next time.
There is an option that you could just armor up this turn, actually. Just attack armor up. But you leave the hook to be slightly flexible. The next turn, 100% you can fire War Axe into Corsair. It does mean that if next turn you draw something better,
Bloodsail Raider or something would be really nice pickup for next turn. So this is where Pirate Warrior can be difficult, because you're not just playing to your win condition out, which is what everybody does who watches a lot of Hearthstone. You're playing to what's a good play next turn outs as well. So let's see what they go with here. I feel you should play the War Axe here just for efficiency, but you do cost yourself 1 long-term damage. You may also draw a weapon buff, in which case you really want that War Axe on the board. You're right, they just armor up.
Yeah, I think what this does as well is this, and this is maybe going a bit too deep down the thought path, is that this kind of gives Theo an idea of what the hand looks like, and he probably doesn't think that hand is Fiery War Axe, Corsair, Spellbreaker at this point. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like the Mortal Strike could be a good guess because you're never just going to Mortal Strike. Well, one, you have the mana, but also it's a completely dead card for now and for a while. But the War Axe can get some value, and there's even a chance that like War Axe upgrade Corsair could happen.
This plays around Ooze as well a little bit.
Yep.
If you can't attack with the War Axe the turn you play it, get it oozed, you've lost a lot of damage.
Especially into 3 for the ooze that like heals you as well.
Exactly, yeah, give away the armor. And a lot of, you say it's been dropped from a lot of the mages. We've seen it 2 or 3 times, so it's still in maybe half of them, especially in this tournament.
Yeah, I think in tournament it's probably more reasonable because you're expecting a lot of the weapon classes.
Yeah.
On ladder it's a bit more free, right? And another War Axe, okay. But this is still fine.
This is a little bit better for them because now they can actually just play the War Axe and
War Axe face, get him.
yeah.
And you have some kind of like insurance policy as well with this War Axe, in that you can go face with it, get the extra +2 damage after instead of using the hook first, and then if it gets oozed, fine. You just play the other one and go. You know what I mean? Like you're feeling pretty fine about it. You even use the one he drew off the top, which again sort of gives Theo the idea in Team Netherlands that he had nothing. So
Right,
what is that far left card?
They well might not realise that left-hand card is the War Axe because they may well have played it last turn. It was obviously a close call. This is where the patience is going to pay off a little bit for the Netherlands, and they're going to be able to start picking minions off quite nicely now.
We see the glorious power of the Medivh's Valet using the Battle Cry to just kill off the Corsair here. Can drop down the Archaeologist, and suddenly 2 1/1s and a War Axe versus 2 2/3s. That's a battle I'm okay with being the mage on.
Yeah, the mage then has 2 awkward-looking turns while they get to the Fireland's turn, and after that, the warrior will be down to just weapons and charge minions to do any damage, and obviously the Mortal Strike, etc.
Yeah, Counterspell actually in the deck. So again, we see more and more players adapt this list with more tech choices, and Counterspell can be devastating for the warrior. Upgrade, Mortal Strike, Heroic Strikes, a lot of burst damage they expect to have, just completely negated here.
Yeah, this is really going to be quite close. The Pirates still being able to force through damage for a turn or 2, but the Netherlands are going to stabilise. But against Pirate Warrior, if you have no healing in your deck, you never ever quite stabilise. They really could do with getting a nice barrier down.
Yeah. I think, so if we go 7, 8, 9, I actually, 4, 5, 7, okay. If you Heroic Strike this turn, go face with everything,
Yep.
and then just re-equip the War Axe, I think that seems pretty reasonable, because at this point, you need to win quickly, and the Spellbreaker, you can play the Spellbreaker, it dies to just minion ping, so you're like, well...
And you might need that to get through some weird minion.
Spellbreaker, yeah, of course.
Or you might need a 4/3, as they're going to choose here.
Yeah, I mean, this, I don't know. I like just getting into face damage when possible. This, obviously, if this is a trade ping, then suddenly your opponent's only playing with 3 mana this turn, which is fine. And one of the Pirates might live. So definitely something to consider here, but I do like just playing all the damage all face because you do have Mortal Strike in hand as well.
So what's the play here for the Netherlands? Obviously, they need to get rid of this 4/3, so bump ping seems pretty good. Just Arcane Intellect and save the counterspell 1 more turn. You're not expecting to get a spell in the face for 1 more turn?
Definitely tough.
They're going to Intellect.
There's an argument for Counterspell because the second you lock out any spell from the warrior, you've just healed for X, which is incredible.
Talking of healing, Alex
long way away from
they've
it,
got to
though.
get there, but now there is a plan. If they can just survive those only 4 more turns,
That's the
then
problem.
that is the plan now. Just kill things for 4 more turns. Behind that block, heal yourself up to 15, and that should do it with the amount of burn in hand to kill things.
Yeah, a lot of the time if you self-Alexstrasza and the board isn't just full of minions on your opponent's side, you actually just win because they can't do 15 fast enough. They're normally out of cards by
Like
then.
already the board is turning. The problem is that charge minions and weapons don't turn it quickly enough. But if somehow the Netherlands can survive turns 6 and 7, leave the block up for turn 8, self-Alex on 9, by that time they're going to have the board because they'll have cast 2 Firelands portals.
Yeah. See now, if there was the swing earlier, not the Spellbreaker,
Right.
this board would look the same except minus than as Os First Mate, but you would have done way more damage, and you could prop the block this turn. Like, yeah, it's convenient you drew the Corcoran Elite, but still, like, you would have put so much more damage on the board.
This is actually quite a difficult looking turn because nothing gets the job done. So you've really got to start going to turn 6 and what do we want to do? And next turn, you want to do everything next turn. All your spells cost 4 and 2, and that all adds up to 6.
Yeah.
So
Again, I'm going to keep saying this, but I would just like War Axe Heroic Strike here. Just go heavy.
the only problem with that is you end up wasting mana again next turn.
Yeah, wasting mana is still proccing the block
Sure.
though, right?
Yeah.
You know, like I think the importance.
Here it comes.
Yeah, the importance of just quickly rushing this mage down is so key.
Yep.
If you give them time, you give them time to draw more ice blocks. If they get to Alex,
Counter spell, for instance, could have been played, and it hasn't been.
Counter spell is actually a nightmare here, I think, for Theo, because if you look, the Archaeologist drew the counter spell. If you didn't play counter spell, it probably draws an ice block or a barrier.
Yeah, yeah.
Suddenly,
So it's actually
pretty good card.
backfired.
Yeah, I agree.
Real trouble now, though.
And the problem now is the counter spell won't guarantee a stop on this block prop.
The
Proc.
interesting thing, though, if they play the counter spell, it is likely that Thailand try to Mortal Strike rather than attack with a minion, because they will assume it's a barrier.
That's true, but the Mortal Strike wouldn't proc the block anyway, right? So they'd probably just attack. If they were on 4,
Sure.
they would use the Mortal 100%. But they're not, and I think they have to attack because they're not proccing the block anyway, and Mortal Strike can do more than 4 later on.
No, they've got the weapon as well, though, right?
Yeah, but if you think it's barrier,
Yes, you don't attack with the Corcoran, you attack with the Mortal Strike to proc. Maybe.
how?
Okay, sure.
With the weapon procs the ice barrier.
Sure.
weapon
Okay,
stick
see, I
procs
can't add. I can't numbers.
For a second, I was like, I'm
no, you're
pretty
not
sure
insane.
that's how it
It's
works.
me that's insane, Raven. Continue.
Okay, so-
Narcos makes all this easy anyway.
Does it?
I guess it doesn't. This is so
Lauren,
hard
you're
because we
confusing
know
me.
it's counterspell, but there's no way that Thailand will expect it. But they also know that it's not been played for a few turns.
Yeah.
So the chances are that it's not barrier.
I mean, the thing is, you have to kind of expect barrier. So because of that, I would probably just play the Corcoran anyway, because
Right.
you can't just go, well, I'm just going to hope I have double Mortal Strike and prop the block somehow without using, physical
Yeah.
damage. So you just take the Corcoran, play it. Mortal Strike might be worth more later. Corsair, similar job, I guess. Get the Corsair on the board, can Corcoran next turn. Finds out it's in fact not Ice Block.
But they have bought that one extra turn.
Yeah. There's Medivh. Still not going to make too much of a difference. The Thailand's portal into a cross your fingers for a taunt. Is
Yeah,
basically
they
the play
need
here.
to draw a glyph into some sort of
Yeah. They need that one more turn.
second block, basically. Because if they do get that one more turn between now and Alex Straza, they will almost certainly win this game.
And also the knowledge of the weapon swing now tells them that they will use Corcoran next turn. Because you would never, ever play the Mortal Strike to prot the block.
Other
what's
draws
coming
be
off the balance?
Archaeologist, the actual block, the barrier. There are things they can draw next turn
Yeah,
to
they can draw.
stay in this. There's probably 4 or 5 outs.
That can. Not going to be enough, but Corcoran Hero Power seems fine here. And then if they draw any weapon plus deckhand, they can go for the kill next turn. There is still another Thailand. Can just Thailand's portal, go for a taunt again, and hope for the best. Obviously, they don't know that there's a Mortal Strike.
Yeah.
But they also have counter spells, so they're guarded from Mortal
So
Strike.
there's several ways out here, and they're
Good.
all strange.
Well,
3, 6, 7, 8,
Thailand's portal, that guy.
22.
Is
Violence portal.
this is what I was
into
mentioning earlier. If we look,
Earth Elemental.
Pyroblast, Violence, Poly, Fireball, Alex. Like you're drawing the wrong end of your deck here, quite a lot. And this is you just get completely run over. And still, he was one turn away. Imagine if he survives this turn. Self Alex's. That's game for Theo. Theo just wins.
There's something like 6 taunts available here. Sottle told me a while ago, and I blanked him. But I think it's 6.
Look, both of these minions, Druid of the Claw can become a taunt. The Avian Watcher can become a taunt. They're just taunting.
Wow.
Theo himself just saying so close, but so far. The Archite Reaper slight overkill here as Thailand is fully aware this is in fact not an ice block. It is not an ice barrier. This is just game. And the first Pirate Warrior of the day and the last of the day actually has a 100% win ratio here.
100% Pirate Warrior win rate. 1-0. 1-1.
Yep, 1-1 for the for Netherlands versus Thailand now. And Netherlands are 1-1 in groups whereas Thailand are 1-0.
Yeah.
So slightly off kilter in terms of how many matches these teams have played. Netherlands playing 2, Thailand playing 1 so far, and this is their third and second respectively. But a win here for Thailand would actually be really nice. They go 2-0 in the group, which is actually really, really strong. They have evened it up with the Pirate Warrior, but that was a very rough game. As I said, the Mage drew, Alex Straza, Pyroblast, Fireball, and then the Archaeologist got them a counterspell.
And they had so many outs to win the game. That's how poor the draw was. Anyway, Tyler is next up against Viper Pro, and Tyler is so into this tournament that he actually changed his emotes on his channel. Like
to all the players,
to all
right?
the players' images on the team.
Yeah.
That's how much into this tournament Tyler is at the moment.
Yeah, so if you're a Netherlands supporter, by all means, go and check out Tyler's channel. He has emotes of all the players' faces that are on his team, so that's kind of awesome. And he is going to not be playing Warrior, he's going to be playing Druid instead. And Viper Pro is going for his Paladin over the Priest. Now, you watched a lot of Tyler. Are we seeing Token Druid, Aggro Druid here?
You would really, really expect him to be playing Aggro Druid. If he's playing what he's been playing on stream, which he got to... he doesn't know at the time that I last looked, if he's 10th or 11th in the ranking.
Yeah, I remember saying,
huge difference in terms of points, which he's trying to get enough points to win the last call. But he was playing a lot of Aggro Druid. And Viper Pro's a control guy. His other class was Priest, so this... I would be surprised if this is an aggressive Paladin, but... Got to keep in mind, everyone, this is actually a team tournament. So when we're doing the analysis of individual players, you want the guy who's good at control to drive a control decks on average, but it's not as important as maybe sometimes we make it out to be.
Yeah, and I think what's funny as well is with Paladin, even the aggressive Paladin lists, yeah, you can win quickly by snowballing, of course, early on. But the lists still aren't that aggressive, right? They still have plenty of late game. You're in Spirage, dude. You see Viper Pro with a few teammates there, of course, getting ready. Tyler rocking his Complexity jersey in that background that if you have ever been on Twitch and browsed Hearthstone, you've probably seen Tyler and his background there in his room.
The ever-changing background where people are putting up shelves and all sorts of things go on in that room.
Yeah, it's good. I do like his hoodie. But yeah, Tyler, if you don't know much about him, he is a streamer for Complexity, so he's teammates with Sottle, and he actually just streams incredible hours, like 14, 15 nowadays, quite easily.
Without doing them as special streams, he just streams. He'll say, I'll go stream till I get top 100, and he'll be like... And he is the best player I've ever seen playing after 150 games solid.
Yeah, so Tyler actually has multiple Rank 1 Legend hits on multiple servers. He consistently finishes very highly on ladder as an actual finish. He was the anchor for Netherlands as well, getting the most HCT points. So yeah, we are going to go into the game now and see what Tyler rocking the Jade Druid versus Viper Pro's Paladin, and Sunkeeper Tarim and Aldor Peacekeepers across the board. Definitely a nod to a more late game based Paladin.
Late game based Paladin. How late game we will have to wait and see, but looks pretty late game from the cards we've seen so far. Not necessarily a good matchup for it, because Jade Druid beats a lot of late game decks. That's kind of what it's for.
Yeah, and the opening here even as well, depending on how confident you are, there's, the Wrath is a potential keep to not get snowballed by the early Murlocs from the Paladin. But other than that, it looks like all this can be tossed. I don't think you're ever going to be confident enough to keep a Nourish against Paladin. That's like just playing with -1 card a lot of the time.
Yeah, keeping the Wrath is what they did, just because they don't know what deck it's going to be. And if it is the aggressive deck, the Druid wins by going all out at the start and just killing everything it can, and usually just scrapes through to turn 6 or 5 where it plays the Behemoth and solidifies. As it's the slower Paladin though, keeping that Wrath isn't going to be a huge punish because you're such a decent favourite anyway, you can afford to be slightly punished for a keep.
Also, Wrath can just cycle if you really need to anyway. It's not like it's a horrendous card in any way, shape or form. So Tyler now doesn't have any of the ramp available minus the coin he started with, so not the best opening. You really do want to ramp up against pretty much any deck, but it does have a lot of options. Gluttonous Ooze is going to be very nice to kill off a True Silver Champion swing.
Yes.
And then also just the Jade Behemoths being really key cards in general.
Hydrologist. Probably going to forget away Kodo. Thailand are probably already, after one turn, assuming that this is Jade Druid, because turn 1 do nothing with coin as Druid is unheard of if it's the aggro Druid.
Yeah.
And so Getaway Kodo, get a little bit of value.
Actually, the only time I've ever seen it happen is when they go crazy on turn 2. You know, like they go like minion, innovate, buff, or something like that, which is crazy. But in general, yes, if you don't see a turn 1 play, probably ain't aggro.
You're trying to make assumptions, assessments based on really small amounts of information here. Yeah, they take the Getaway Kodo.
I like it.
Yeah, I guess.
Especially if you're playing a later game Paladin. You don't have to play that for a while. Yeah.
Right.
You can like force
Tyrion.
a Getaway Kodo on Rag, Tyrion, Curator. There are a lot of nice options. We see the Tar Creeper here for Tyler. Do you think it's ever worth coining this out? It does contest the
Sometimes,
Hydrologist really well.
I don't think it is here just because you've got the double 6 drop in your hand. So, I mean,
Right,
I
accelerate
wouldn't
to
be
the
upset if you did, but I'd wait until turn 5 and coin out a Behemoth into another Behemoth, I think.
Yeah.
You're not sure what you're against yet. It's nowhere near as the read. Tyler hasn't got anywhere near the read that Thailand have got on him.
Yeah.
But he can probably assume it's not that aggressive a Murloc deck. But again, it's not as clear. So we might just see him Wrath this.
Yeah, even the aggressive lists actually can just draw their late game, right? You know, and just not spam out tons of minions early on.
And yeah, he just gets rid of it and decides if it's an aggressive deck, I've just saved some time, and if it's not an aggressive deck, I've used my curve fine.
Yeah, like Rock Pool as well can be a pain, you know. There's just you just remove the option of it being a nightmare. And if it is Kodo, even bouncing Hydrologist is just like almost unlimited value in a constant 2/2 messing around. So definitely plenty of options here. And now Thailand have a choice between Hero Power Pass or just to drop an Aldor Peacekeeper.
Yeah, and
after
really
seeing the
messed
Wrath.
them up. Oh yeah, but after seeing the Wrath, but also knowing you're against a deck that later on is going to be spewing 7/7.
Yeah.
But yeah,
like
goes for the
this,
tempo.
though. I do like this because, one, you could just Kodo next turn if you really wanted to, and two, you've just seen a Wrath. Like, it's probably not going to get cleaned up. And then you have True Silver Champion plus 3/3 to kill anything that comes out.
Going to be not punished, it's not quite the word I'm looking for, but going to be balanced out by the Tar Creeper here, almost certainly. And they're just going to sit and look at each other for a few turns.
There's... Yeah, it's just gonna,
They can't get past each other.
No.
Just going to have to sit
Like
and look.
an awkward, like, stare. War Leader, not too fantastic either. True Silver Champion even feels bad to put in. You know, Tar Creeper is such a weird, and just the Tar general thing, so weird. Like, I could True Silver into it. I take damage for no real reason. I
kill my own minion off for no real reason.
And like, he could True Silver this turn, then like Hero Power or something, you know, do it the long way. But it just doesn't feel great. Ever. It is a very well designed and annoying minion to deal with.
Yeah, both of those two things I agree with. I think it's a card that has made Hearthstone a lot better for its existence. The solution to the problem of if it's my go, I have a big advantage is elegant with this card. My go, I don't have a big advantage because it's garbage on your own turn. But
it's going to be a second 3-drop, and this is actually pretty cute. The Getaway Kodo means you kind of get value no matter what's killed. The War Leader just goes back to your hand, so you're like, great, I just keep the War Leader for later on. All the Aldo comes back in your hand, and you have that Battle Cry effect that you missed out on earlier. But now, Wild Growth. It's going to be pretty nice to go straight into those turn 6 plays.
Yeah, I think that's where you go. You've just seen that your opponent doesn't want to deal with a 3/5, so you can risk Fandral, but I think you save that for later. Now you know this might go long, you might need that Fandral for some value. I think Wild Growth is probably better. But again, you might want the Wild Growth for the card draw later, so not clear cut.
I think because the trade-off of Wild Growth this turn, you can Hero Power Face to check the Noble Sacrifice, push for 1 damage with the Tar Creeper, and the Wild Growth saves the coin, and the coin combined with Fandral could help out more later on. Fandral coin into Nourish, for example, would be insane.
And you start making 3/6s and coin, and I agree with you.
I just think it's important to just get to those Jades.
And they do play double Auctioneer almost exclusively in this deck now. Azure Drake has gone, as we pointed out earlier, and Tyler thinks it'll stick.
Okay. Alright, it's worth a shot. The only weird thing here is with Fandral, there's nothing even in hand at the moment that does anything with Fandral in terms of the double bonuses. So if it sticks and you just whiff a draw next turn, you're like, oh, well, I didn't get anything that gives the Fandral effect.
But it's going to stick for a while, I think.
Maybe.
Because next turn you're now going to play coin into Jade. That's more defense. So this is just designed to force the equality consecration, I feel.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I
you're
agree.
going to have to do it next turn or the turn after. And when those have gone, that's an equality consecration that's not hitting your 9-9s and 10-10s on turn 17.
Yeah, completely agree. Even just burning equality, because one of the biggest swings is like equality and then primordial Drake.
Right.
Like that's nuts. Like
That really is
you just
hard.
develop a 4/8 and clear your opponent's board. Like that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, 4/8 for consecration plus 4 mana. It's like, huh? That just seems kind of silly.
Going for the equality right now.
Yeah, and Tyler's play has worked effectively with that result. That's managed to force an equality out, and they won't be upset with that.
Yeah, no,
They'd have
not
rather
really.
stuck, but they'd have made the play with that as the likely payoff.
Yeah, now suddenly with coin into Jade Behemoth, into Spirit, then this is actually starts stacking up into a lot of Jades. And you've just seen the equality, as you said, Lorinda, so this could kind of start to snowball out of control for Team Netherlands now.
Yeah, although they haven't played a single Jade yet.
Yeah.
So these are going to be 1/1 buddies for the Jade Behemoth. So it's going to be a little while before these golems get going. But they are now getting going. Like you said, there's going to be at least 2 over the next 2 turns. Okay. Good looking curve here, in fairness, but Spike is not going to be quite big enough, but it's going to slow things down. It's weird. Thailand need to slow it down for 1 or 2 turns just while they get their deck sorted from the curator.
Yeah.
And then they need to explode, because if this game goes too long, they will just lose it.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough one. It's just annoying because Spike Ridge doesn't put him on enough damage to actually kill the Behemoth.
I think they're also considering the getaway Kodo. Do we want to just suicide our 3/3 and play curator now, so we get another one?
Could do that if he was 1 mana more.
Oh, that's not how numbers work again. What's wrong?
Well, what
My
he
goodness.
could do is he could
Yeah.
suicide it and play champion this turn.
Yeah.
Not hero power, and then play curator next
Next
turn,
turn,
which he
and
could do. They get the double
And there's
value
no
there.
trickery in the Druid deck. They have to kill things that are on the board.
Yeah,
in
of
that
course.
way. There's no
Especially 'cause it's a
polymorph
taunt
or
as
hex.
well,
or
yeah,
anything.
exactly.
They're fine getting another 3/3.
Do they attack? It doesn't look like they want to here. Last minute decision. Goes through.
I think they're trying to set up a situation where what I was saying is right, except with mana that works,
Could be
where they can
usable.
kill off their own minion, but again, then the 2/6 appears that's got taunt, so it's never going to happen.
So there's the Gadget Zan here for Tyler. It's not going to be much use at this moment in time, but with a Wild Growth and an Earthen Scales in hand, then there's definitely a lot of spells later game he can use. But I just like Jade Behemoth here. Like, just why not? You just all you got to focus on is building those Jades up this turn and not dying.
Yeah, trying to find any course of action where playing the Jade Spirits instead works, but this just
Nah.
makes the
Hero
ultimate
power does
sense.
nothing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Even just getting that sweet 3 damage in, so now the ooze actually kills itself onto the second Jade Behemoth.
Right, 7 mana.
And
This card
now we
costs
can play
7.
Curator.
That's
Perfect.
how it works. I don't
Genius.
understand.
Absolute genius. Primordial Drake, Stampeding Kodo, and a Rock Pool. 7 mana, 4/6 taunt, draw 3 cards. Seems like a good card to me.
Yeah, you definitely want 2 of them if you could.
Yeah. Reasonable
Okay.
legendary.
So Tyler will not be playing the Ooze anytime soon. He won't be playing the Wild Growth anytime soon. He doesn't want to play much in this hand apart from the Jade Spirit. Just by elimination,
Yeah.
there's everything's sort of got a higher purpose for later, with the possible exception of Auctioneer and Earthen Scales, if you think that might survive.
Yeah, that's a tough one, right? Because what's something you can do is actually just kill off the ooze pretty easily with the 2/2 and the 1/1 on the board.
Yes.
And that it also plays around redemption. You don't really care about 3/1. And see, because it's still better than Curator being a 4/1, right?
Yep.
If it's redemption anyway. Noble Sacrifice you can test very quickly. If it's Noble Sacrifice with the 2/2 or the 1/1, then you can just use the Jade Behemoth to trade. So you do actually get to sort of mess around and play around everything here. See, this is not Noble Sacrifice. Now we're going to find out it's going to be Getaway Kodo, which puts the ooze back in Viper Bro's hand, and then the 2/6 is going to come off the Steed. But now there's an option for just Jade Spirit. Drop it.
Yeah.
Go. I like it. I think you're not under any direct pressure here.
Yeah, nothing
You
else
just go for
really
it.
worked out for them here. Although choosing to play the Earthen Scales to defend it from these 6 attack we can see on the board.
That's fine for me.
Yeah, it's fine for me. I'm just thinking if you're going that way, then definitely they must have spent a lot of time talking about the Auctioneer as well.
Yeah.
Because then the 4/7's still stuck behind these minions. But they'll get their chance later, no doubt, with Wild Growth on turn 10, for instance, where they can draw 3 cards for 1. basically, with the Auctioneer. And obviously, they're going to start picking up Jade-related draw in a moment as well.
Yeah, I think as well the Primordial Drake just being available for next turn means that, well, Gadgetzan being played, you might want a Drake next turn, which
that's
damages
awkward.
Gadgetzan, makes it vulnerable to just consecrate on its own. So I do like holding on to it. You've got plenty more juice in the tank before you have to start messing around with Gadgetzan draws.
But you are going to have to mess around because slowly but surely Thailand, using that, or not slowly but surely, rapidly with the Curator, have managed to get themselves into a position where they have a lot of good options to start to force the pace. And so that will make the Netherlands go into the Auctioneer possibly a turn or two sooner than they wanted to. But first we're going to have the Drake doing an all nasty damage next turn.
Yeah, and suddenly Thailand is basically, and Viper Pro is doing the thing that Druids don't like you doing, going wide on the board with the threat of a Wall Leader. We can see Wall Leader Rock Pool in hand, means that Druid just can't, it doesn't matter about the Jade, Druid just can't deal with a wide board, and the Jades aren't big enough.
Except with Drake. This Drake's actually going to wreck this board.
Potentially. Will it wreck it through Wall Leader, though?
Will it?
It won't wreck all of it, right? It only does 2. It doesn't kill the Wall Leader. Wall Leader buffs everything else anyway.
Wait, I can't see a Wall Leader. Why am I going crazy?
No, sorry. This turn it'll wreck it. Sorry,
Yeah,
I meant like he's going to try and go wide going forward.
Oh,
with
I
the
see.
Murloc
Sure.
Because of Wall Leader and Rock Pool.
Sure, I'm just staring there going, I know I'm going old and senile, but why is there a Wall Leader on the board? Yeah, so if he doesn't do it now, which is even more testament to why he has to do it now, the Wall Leader would indeed have made everything survive.
Yep. And now there's the likely option that the 3-1 gets traded into, which would leave the Vilefin open to some buffs from the Rock Pool and the Wall Leader. And if he wants to go that wide, he could actually just play his Ragnaros and trade in if he really wanted to. Like a Crawler. Me and Salt were talking about this earlier. No, was it me and you talking about it?
Possibly.
Now you both just muddling in my mind. I think it was me and Sol.
Don't get me mixed up with Sottle. He'll never forgive you.
Same person, right?
In 10 years' time, we'll be talking about Sottle in terms of senile old man.
10 years?
2 years.
I'm the youngest one here, so I can say tomorrow probably. We'll
Not for long. That's okay.
What? Age doesn't work like that, Lorinda.
Okay.
I can't catch you up, believe it or not. But this board is very nice. This Vilefin now being able to do enough damage to trade into this we'll call it Volcanic Drake. I just like saying the word Volcano. I call Michia Volcano. I call Primordial Drake Volcanic Drake. Why not? But now this board is scary, right? Like there's just, how does a Druid deal with this? Apart from, double swipe, which they're just probably not going to have. If this keeps up, Ragnaros comes down next turn. Or Kodo, pings off something small. But this is just starting to get out of control here.
This is the board that you had in mind a couple of turns ago, yeah. And you were thinking you were ahead to this. And you're right, this is going to be so difficult to deal with. And I think you just have to swipe the War Leader here and get it out of the way and hope there aren't more War Leaders.
And now, although this looks kind of wonky, just the Ragnaros is just great here.
Yeah, the Druid's going to have to...
How does Druid kill Ragnaros?
Going to have a crazy Auctioneer turn to pick off the pieces and then find later a way to get rid of Ragnaros, because Mulch no longer exists in the format that we are playing in this tournament.
Get that crab up to full health.
Unless they're playing the Black Knight.
Yeah.
And make it have Taunt.
Yeah, that's fine. It works. He's going to do it. Told you. You just got to call your shots. Ragnaros going to heal him up.
How do you do that? Okay, here we go.
You need to reach the next tier of caster skills, Lorinda. Then you'll
Tier
learn how
6,
to call
here we come.
exact cards as they come
Okay,
out.
so here it comes. Auctioneer is just going to go completely insane. It's going to have to see what they can draw. Playing the Jade Idol first, because now they've got a chance of drawing several more Jade Idols. Picking up the Feral Rage is important, because looks like their route to victory here is to swipe off all the small stuff and make a whole board of big stuff, and then race the Ragnaros.
It's going to be difficult, though.
It's going to be very difficult, yes. But it's getting some progress on the front there.
Yeah, the scary part here is how well the minions will end up trading along with the Primordial Drake into the board. That's something that needs to be considered here.
Right.
Now the pause is just going to be another Jade with Jade Blossoms here to go up to a 6-6. So now Viper Pro's probably already doing the count on how do I get this board either cleared or in a safe enough position. The Auctioneer has to die, which is easy. Dies just on board anyway.
Oh, or...
That'll do it.
That's definitely an option. That's the option they instantly will see, and now they'll look for other ways around in case there's a cleverer way of doing things.
I actually like it. You can go to face for 8 with Rag, then you bring everything else down and up, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You bring the opponent's board down to 3s and your board up. You can actually hero power before you do that, or maybe even better, you can equip the True Silver and kill off one of the 3/3s. So you can save a minion.
Yeah. You can also kill the 6/6 with a rag, just to have an extra 3/3 kill, basically.
Nah, you go
Then
face.
heal
You
your
go 8
rag.
to face.
Of course you do, yeah. I'm just looking for other options, man.
Yeah, this is actually insane. It looks like with the slight hover there over the weapon, it's like Viper Pro is going to go for the weapon option. Sunkeeper Tarim. Woof, good card.
And now everything is just going to die.
Yeah, and it keeps additional 3/3 onto the board as well because of the weapon.
Yeah, quality
And-
pyro
and
where
heals
half
up
your
the top.
guys live. And not even bothering to make the
Nah.
trades, just smashing people in the face down to 6, and that will be that.
Don't really mind that either, to be honest. You could have gone for the trade for ultimate safety, but this is a different kind of safe. Your opponent can't kill you if you kill them first, which is a lot of safety in itself. Sometimes the best defensive is a great offense. And yeah, this is just going to be too much, I feel, for Tyler here. He can Feral Rage, which is going to gain him 8 health. He can play the Ooze, which will gain him an additional 4.
Yeah, he can also Earthen Scales, which will allow him not only to gain the 4, but also to trade into the Tarim more effectively. I don't think it's enough, though.
He could Jade Idol. He could gain a lot of armor this turn, actually. He can Ooze, he can Jade Idol, he can Earthen Scales the Jade Idol, then he can Feral Rage as well. So it could gain a lot of armor. I think it does actually keep him up. Just go for the clean trades instead, gain the 4 armor here. Which makes sense, it means you can clear off the Ragnaros.
Yep.
What's he gonna go? Oh, go for the Wrath instead, okay. So clearing off more of the board means he doesn't have to have the armor. And in fact now he's going for the even bigger Jades. Can Tyler just, you know, come back after?
And there is no lethal here, the way he's done it, either. And that's not lethal either. And Tyler can clear the board and Feral Rage next turn.
And there's a Gadgetzan as well.
Gadget Sound of Feral Rage and Aya. That's actually a comeback-looking hand. It's going to be really close, though. But it doesn't need to be close for long when you have 7/7s and 8/8s hanging around.
And an Aya. Like, Aya's no
Tyler's getting excitable. He thinks he might have found a way to do this.
Pray. I do love Tyler because he's very however sort of cool, calm, collected he is a lot of the time. He does get excited about the game.
Right.
Very much so. He puts a lot into this game. He's pursued it. He quit a career in it, pretty much. He quit a career in fashion photography, actually, to pursue this. He's put in the hours. He works extremely hard.
A lot of support from his family as well, who all make sure he gets the support he needs with those 16 hours a day of Hearthstone.
And he gets very, very excited. I know him representing Netherlands is very important to him, as it no doubt is to Viper Pro. And this is just looking rough here, unless we are missing something, which we are not. There is, what, 15?
There's a lot of damage coming in still. There's Murloc buffs.
22 damage, 26 with the Feral Rage. The Drake isn't going to be enough.
It's not going to be enough, but it's going to be enough to take care
trade
of
the whole
board.
board away, right?
Because Megasaur is a terrifying prospect here.
Yeah, what you do
Give
here
all these Murlocs +3 is the end of the game.
You will always win the long game as the Jade
Yes.
Druid, right? So all you do is survive. You just don't die. Even if this turn is Drake hero power at this point. Does he even need to Drake?
Doesn't need to, but it's definitely a clear option, just because it gets rid of the
It's the
little
1/1,
annoying
right?
1/1s. And
So-
it effectively gains you 8 more health, unless there's an equality as well.
I'm just thinking 3 for 5, 4 for 2, 3. Okay. Yeah, the Drake doesn't have too much of a negative impact on your side of the board,
Right.
which is key. I was just working out, were there any trades that happen where you just suddenly kill an 8/8 Jade of your own by playing the Drake, and you're like, oh no, like, sick. So no, this is actually reasonably safe, gets all the work done he needs to get done. Gonna hero power the Murloc again.
Again, because it can't get buffed, yep.
Exactly. And then just go in for these trades. Clears the board, and suddenly, how in the light's name does Uther deal the damage?
And there is the Megasaur that they played around, and knowing nod of their head there from Viper Pro, it's like, damn it, why aren't we playing against bad people? They'd have let us have some Murlocs.
Yeah, very close indeed. The Primordial Drake plus hero power does clear up the 7/2 Jade, and it means that the 8/3 will die as it needs to trade into it. Not great, because the 8/3 will be an 8/1, so that's kind of upsetting, but
Looking this though, Tyler's, if he wins this game, which is looking like he will, it's because he calculated so well. That Feral Rage he hasn't played for 8 armor when it looked like, you and I go, how much armor can he gain?
Yeah.
He went, how much armor can I gain and how much do I need to gain? He split the difference, kept the Feral Rage back because that allowed him to develop something on the board at the same time for a fight back.
Wow, he can. Okay, he's going for the trade. There was a chance he could actually just trade the Drake into the Drake, swipe, and play Aya. Because then the Drake lives, the 8-1 lives, so you hit him in the face for 8 as well. But let's rewind, let's not get giddy. Tyler will win the long game.
Like, he's now trying to work out, can I be really greedy and just hero power here and save the Feral Rage? The answer is almost certainly yes, but it's one of those situations where that might just be too cute.
Well, I think he can Feral Rage now because next turn he can just auctioneer Wild Growth.
Exactly.
Scrolls, right?
I mean, it just looks like he's trying to actually not do that, but I think Tyler's worked out there is no way that it could matter, but he doesn't want to take the risk that there's a weird card.
It's not worth not doing, is it? If you just suddenly lose this game,
lose to Hammer of Wrath Consecration, you're like, what just happened?
Yeah. Double of Hammer of Wrath go. Sunkeeper Tarim shows the power of Stonehill in this deck for Paladin. Going to reduce all these minions back down again, but Aya again, now a Jade Idol as well, with a Gadget Set Auctioneer, all the power in the world. How many Sunkeeper Tarims can you play in a game?
As many as you get.
Not enough to beat Jade Druid, because they can always make more Jades.
That doesn't seem fair.
I'm with Sol on the Jade opinion. I heard him say in the last series that if Jade Druid is the deck that just hammers control out of if control gets too crazy, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll just play aggro, kill him. Like, the problem is when Jade Druid gets to the point where it can beat aggro and control consistently, and then you're like, okay, this deck's done.
Okay, they don't play Jade Druid.
Just play the mirror.
And it looks like it's going to go to 2-1 to Tyler here. Very, very well to the Netherlands. Sorry, not just to Tyler. He's not the only player on the team. He has his friends talking in his ear right now.
He's going to make sure he closes it out, though. There's still Tyrion. There's still potentially a quality Pyro or a quality Conch, which gets one more clear. You play Tyrion. Maybe you can build off that. Because at the end of the day, Viper Pro has kind of got time because he's on full health. But getting smacked in the face by this 10-10, it's going to put that clock very, very short.
Yeah.
Okay, this one Murloc. You're going to hero power, you're going to play double Megasaur.
Super Murloc.
The buffest Murloc known to history to win this game. It's going to need Poison Divine Shield at this point. Wind Fury, go. It can hit twice. Stealth, keep it secret, keep it safe.
Not quite sure exactly what you pick here. Bottom right looks like an option.
It's always an option. I mean, you just pick Volcanic Might, right? Stealth doesn't matter, Wind Fury doesn't matter. Even Wind Fury...
I guess you've got to think, is there something I can get where Stealth does matter for next turn?
Nah.
Because he's going to do another adapt.
Oh, he's going to?
Yeah.
Oh, so he wants Stealth Poison, I guess?
Probably.
What's the 1-1, 3-3? Divine Shield! Just made that 1-1. Made that Argent Squire. Get him. Another Jade Idol means Tyler can just free shuffle. This will fatigue him for 1, but it doesn't really matter too much because he now has the Feral Rage
he can
and
just
all the Jades.
Yeah, if he wants to shuffle the other, then Nourish, then play 3 or 2 or have many adds up to.
Yeah, it just needs to just keep playing Jade Idol.
Just do what he likes now, really.
Yeah, gonna shuffle 2, play 1. He's getting to the point where the Jades are big enough that just having like 2 on the board, it's just a 2-turn clock, whichever way you look at it. So Rap's gonna clear up this Murloc just in case. Another Jade Idol is gonna be played, no doubt, onto the board, I guess now. 11-11, and another one for a 12-12. There's now, I think, 5 Jades in the deck.
All of the Jades are in the deck.
Yeah. Oh, he keeps drawing them, right? Yeah, so it's like even less.
It's just a number of Jades. There
now
they go again.
4, I think.
Yes, 1 plus 3.
Yeah.
Yes.
You joke about the math, Lorendo. Were you there for that Pirate Warrior game we cast last series?
I've not seen a Pirate Warrior game today.
Interesting.
I don't remember any Pirate Warrior games all day. It's been a Pirate Warrior free a day.
Okay, well, if this Aldor Peacekeeper can attack and reduce all of these Jades down, maybe there's a chance, but not meant to be. Tyler, off the back of that one turn, that stabilization turn, takes the victory. You can see how happy he is, and that is going to be Netherlands going 2-1 here against Thailand. So, you know, putting himself in a really, really strong position. And I believe, is it Tice next?
Tice has played.
No, yeah, what am I talking about? Tice played
Mitsuhide.
Priest. It's Mitsuhide, yeah, the one player that hasn't played yet, of course.
That's how it works.
Yeah, normally.
Until the ace match.
until the ace match. Mitsuhide, a very accomplished player himself.
Very much.
One of the sort of the new kids on the block in terms of Hearthstone since the beginning, but one who got good very, very quickly. I remember seeing in some tournaments he was doing okay, and then out of nowhere, he had his DreamHack performance. He went on to the French Hearthstone Festival. Went there, had a strong performance there as well, and that was just continued to just rattle off very, very great ladder finishes, Open Cup performances, major tournament performances as well. He's going to be going with the Paladin in what's potentially the last game if the Netherlands can win.
Paladin against Shaman. Going to be interesting to see what Paladin is brought. I think we've said that every single game today pretty much, but the Paladin still seems to be favouring that middle of the ground pretty much all the way today.
Yeah, it's very difficult to just nail on one style because there's, even just changing 3 cards, which is very easy to do in Paladin, changes the outcome of the deck a little bit, but not too much. But more importantly, there's that doggo in the background on the wall there for Mitsuhide. Not like a real one, by the way, just a picture.
Yeah, before people
think
bite
there's
in.
just hanging dogs up onto the wall. Definitely not.
I've done my research on Holland.
Where's
You're supposed to correct me, thank you. Recently, and I didn't see anything about hanging doggos on walls.
Okay, well, it did look good in the image anyway. But it's all on the line for Thailand now. They have to win to stay in this match and potentially go to 0 in the group, which would be huge.
Yeah.
If they do win, then we'll go to an ace match, which means one of the players from each team can play again, but they cannot play the deck they played earlier in this series. They have to play something new. So we'll see if that happens. But it's going to be Mitsuhide versus... I've just gone completely blank. It was
Pateo,
Potato. Even though I know that's not him. I'm sorry. I'm going to get really, really bad feedback from him saying he's not potato. I know. I just like the potato word. Okay, but it's going to be Potato. What?
I'm just looking.
Potato versus Mitsuhide, and we see more Spirit Echoes shenanigans coming out from this Shaman. And Mitsuhide, already the Sunkeeper Tarim's true silver champion, feels like a very similar deck to the one we just saw, but on the other side of the fence here.
We've seen quite a few grindy Jade Shamans today as well. So dig deep, guys. This one could go a little while from what we've seen before. Although this opening hand from the Netherlands looks like it could develop, even though it's a mid-range control-y Paladin, it could develop into a fairly quick start.
Yeah, but with Lightning Storm and the Maelstrom portal available for Potato here, it means that he does have the answers required if there is a wide push onto the board with these Murlocs. Spirit Echo, not going to get too much value right now. The evolution of this Jade Shaman deck means that Spirit Echo actually is used to generate more Jade generators.
Yes.
If that makes sense. And then also just getting like a 4/4 Jade for 4. I mean, they're cards you shouldn't have. They're
like
they're
just a
additional
4/4
cards
bonus
that are in
card.
your deck.
It's like the pack. When you open that, you get some fairly
Yeah, you just get a set of
mundane
extra cards.
stuff, but it's still stuff.
Yeah.
We saw Russia earlier hold on to their Spirit Echo and Chieftain combo forever.
Yeah.
I mean, forever. Like, down to like 3 cards or something in their deck before they decide, you know what? Well, we can get some value about now.
I do think one of the benefits bringing this deck up against Paladin, though, means that the Spirit Echoes always goes off. The Paladin has no transformation cards unless there's randomly a Tinkmaster Overspark rocking around in the deck. But there are no. It's not like playing against, for example, another Shaman with Devolve, and you're like, oh no, I hope the Spirit Echoes goes off, because if it gets devolved, then you lose the buff.
Yeah, looking at this though, this War Leader is going to cause some havoc if it's not dealt with. And the only way to deal with it really is Lightning Storm at the moment, or Lightning Storm Portal. So just playing this War Leader and curving through might just be worth a go here, even though they know that in the long run this could be a value game.
Yeah, but this, even if this pushes out AoE early, means that AoE's gone, right? And this just feels good, right? Look at this board. You've suddenly got a totem goal.
And later on, you can play Curator, then turn after that, how you described the previous game, you can just sort of go wide on the board. If you know that AoE's gone, that board might stick.
Yeah. Now, Jade Spirit is available with a coin, but Lightning Storm might just be the risky
Doesn't seem
play.
to do enough, though. I mean, half the time it just loses you the game.
What, Lightning Storm?
Yeah, if it only kills the 3/2, that's bad.
Or you can just Maelstrom next turn. Unless there's exactly one more World Leader in hand, which is a very slim chance.
Okay.
I think you have to. You
Okay.
could wait a turn and just Hero Power pass, and then Lightning Storm coin Maelstrom. But if that Lightning Storm only hits the Valfin for 2, then you've done nothing that you couldn't have done the turn before, right? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of the same thing anyway.
The options are not fun here at all for Thailand. And they're just going to take their time. This does, of course, mean the thing from below is cheaper. And now they must be tempted to coin Portal.
Yeah.
This may have been why they did hero powered first. Obviously, you usually do. But now they might coin Portal to get rid of one of these and to make sure the others are in Lightning Storm range.
Trempol's going to come out. What's the minion? Okay. One that can be ignored. But Flame Tongue Totem can work some wonders. If Flame Tongue Totem's even used in this list, I think these lists are fresh enough that they could be and they couldn't be, you know.
I don't think we saw one earlier in any of the decks that we've seen. Now I think about it, it's something that dawns on you slowly when you start. Oh, no Flame Tongue Totem. Yeah, they're busy playing Devolve and AoE spells. They probably don't have space for the buffs, because they're not playing many early minions, so it probably doesn't do that much.
Yeah, it's just one of those cards that a card in itself is just so
But
good.
you start building a Shaman deck, you have
like,
2 Flame Tongue
yeah,
Totems.
'cause
That's
the
like
card's
kind of
good.
where you start.
Rockpool is an option here to help out this War Leader just live a little bit more, not be susceptible to another Maelstrom, for example. Because other than that, like True Silver, go face? Nah, that doesn't feel great. You don't want to just equip True Silver just in case there's a sneak use in here as well. So I like just Rockpool Hero Power.
They must know that, well, they do know there's another AoE next turn. They just don't know which one it is.
This is as good as it's going to get, I think. Even going to go on the Vile Fin, so the Vile Fin's got a higher chance of living.
So they know that it's Lightning Storm. They've assessed that it's more likely to be Lightning Storm because there's 2 of those and there's only 1 more Maelstrom Portal. That's probably the tiebreaker here. And they also know that Lightning Storm doesn't wreck this board.
Yep.
So if it survives, it survives. And Lightning Storm here, A, it looks like they might have to do it, and B, they're only going to have 3 mana next turn with which to do absolutely nothing.
Yeah, well, that's it, isn't it? 1, Lightning Storm's off curve here anyway. 2, the Overload actually just wrecks them next turn as well. So although it's a bit negative in terms of, you know, you need to Lightning Storm to actually battle the Murlocs here and not get overran, it means that, well, maybe you might just lose the late game anyway because of this turn exactly.
And they do hit the Murloc on the left, so they, the Netherlands. Now you've got me saying it accidentally.
I've not said a thing. Don't you try and shift the blame over to me because you don't know the Netherlands.
Hey, you're the experienced cast. You should take the hit. Yeah, but now they lose the roll on that one, and that's going to make a big difference, because now they can't make the most of this overload turn.
Yeah, whereas Netherlands can now develop a Murloc, a 1/1 Murloc, and get the Stonehill Defender up. Are there any of the big boy options? Ozaruk, Hired Gun, and Ironfur Grizzly. Not fantastic at all.
Pretty bleak. That might be the worst selection I've ever seen from Stonehill Defender.
Yeah, I think I agree.
It's like just utterly
At least
grim.
Higher Gun's like 3 mana 4/3 isn't horrendous.
Right.
Like, it's not completely terrible. It's definitely not good though.
And that's your best one.
Yeah. Luckily enough for Mitsuhide is he does have an additional Stonehill in the deck. I imagine he's not playing a one-off since it's one of the best cards in Paladin.
Yeah.
So he does have another go at, you know, rolling into one of those high value Paladin taunts, like one of the legendaries, for example. But yeah, that was a bit of a whiff, to be honest. Seems like a true silver champion turn.
Yeah, they're setting up. They've got through 2 AoEs. They can set up this like wide board of nothing minions, just tokens, and start to set up a huge Sunkeeper Totem and play it a little bit like a Bloodlust.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good with the threat of Megasaur. Like, this is a great board actually, because you're doing enough damage or clearing off. You know, you can clear off the mana tide with a weapon, for example, or go face with a weapon, push with the minions. You're doing enough damage to cause a problem. If another AoE comes out, 1, it's probably Lightning Storm. If you know, to clear the board, because Maelstrom just doesn't. And also, if it's Lightning Storm, then your opponent's overloaded again, and they've Lightning Stormed a board of nothingness. It feels pretty good here.
So do you feel that they'll just, play the True Silver, just in case there's an AoE? I don't think you need to play the Hired Gun as well.
Also, you've got 2 True Silvers. If it gets, like, oozed...
And a Tyrion.
Yeah, if it gets oozed, sick. If it doesn't, get him. You know, like...
Get him.
Yeah, we just saw a quick second there where there was an extra +1 damage if you go face with the weapon, even though it's wired into a lot of players that you trade with the weapon.
This is also lethal next turn, by the way, if Tarim gets a play.
That's a good point, yeah.
That's another reason to do it.
Yeah, seems good. We can see there's options. There's a thing from below. There's even Hot Spring Guardian. It can play both of this turn, which is very defensive. But even then, Tarim's still great. You just blast through his taunts easily, and you still push damage. Then you have a follow-up Tyrion as well.
And the Jades haven't had time to establish, so
Jades have done nothing.
they're
Yeah.
great on multiple later turns, but at the moment they're going to be 1-1s and 2-2s. It's like they're just going to achieve absolutely, well, not nothing, but very, very little.
Also, as well, very important, no Hex yet in hand for Pateo, which means that this Tyrion, and even to a certain extent this Tarim, is just stood there like, yeah, come at me, what are you going to do? There is a Jade Lightning available, but that's pretty much it in terms of aggressive options.
Yeah, Thailand need to think very carefully what they want from this turn.
It's going to go for these. The problem is this does buff the egg to a 3-3 if you play Tarim this turn. So he might actually try and get round it, but that is... Oh, Megasaur. Okay, Hero Power Megasaur, go. +3 attacks clear up this board pretty easily. And push for additional damage. You could get poison, Divine Shield, not as amazing. Interesting as to whether, if you're going to play Megasaur, do you Hero Power Megasaur or do you just Megasaur Hired Gun? Just because Hired Gun's a 4-3 regardless of what you do, right?
I think you Hero Power Megasaur.
And Hero Power? Okay. Do you
other things
Megasaur?
go though? I'm not sure. I'm looking at lines that involve the Peacekeeper as well with Megasaur. And then you just hit, I mean, or even just the Peacekeeper. Just take down this 5-5. You don't even need to play Peacekeeper though.
Indeed.
Indeed. Yeah, because you don't want to make the egg into a 3-3.
This is a tricky, tricky turn. The thing is, what you could say though is, you don't care about the egg being a 3-3 because it has to go into Tarim.
Sure.
Right? So you could actually get value trades. He's going to go for
Megasaur time. He's going to have to be quick. He must have an idea of exactly which order he wants to pick things in here.
Wind Fury.
Here they come.
Wind Fury's kind of awkward.
It really is.
I wonder why he picked Wind Fury. Oh, he's not trading. Okay, sure.
So next turn now.
He's going to Tarim, that's why.
He's going to Tarim and he's going to win the game.
Because at first I was like, Mitsuhide, you lose your Murlocs if you trade them in, so Wind Fury doesn't
work like that.
Yeah, but obviously here he traded in 1 just to get the trade off onto the thing from below. The Stonehill is doing its job of defending the Murlocs. Suddenly with Tarim, that's like, what, 6 damage each. So that's so much burst damage with this Tarim next turn. And also, you've got the Megasaur and the Stonehill to hit through any taunts.
Right.
Which is huge, actually. Now, what is the play here for Pateo?
Make a 1-1 taunt minion.
You know, you're laughing as well because this is the position he's in. There's the Hot Spring Guardian down. What else? Is Jade Lightning onto the Megasaur your best play? If so, you're in trouble, right?
Yeah, because
but it actually is, right?
3-3 Murlocs are representing 18.
Yeah.
That's 6 lots of 3.
Yeah.
That's 18. So if your 5-4 and your 1-4 can just get through the taunt, which they can, that would actually just be the game.
Ooh.
Rolls a taunt which might keep them alive.
And this, okay, this means he can actually take off 1 of the Murlocs.
Right,
So he
that's
leaves
important.
the Megasaur up, but gets to remove 1. We do see a Rockpool Hunter drawn now, so there is a chance of Hero Power into just Tarim this turn. You would trade in to the Megasaur, you trade into the Taunt Tome with Megasaur first, then Tarim, I think.
Yeah, there's a few things you can do here. You can Rockpool Hunter one of the 1-1s to take down the Taunt Totem as well.
Oh, and then
Tarim,
okay.
and it still has Wind Fury, so that the 3 can still go face.
Yeah, so you could Rockpool and then Megasaur into 2-2.
Yes.
Then Tarim, then trade, then go, yeah. Well, hit first, then trade.
That's a thing that they can do.
I mean...
Other options involve playing the True Silver champion. That doesn't look very much fun, though. This looks like the best play.
I think you've chosen Wind Fury. You've still got it on 2 Murlocs. I think what you mentioned with the Wind Fury play now, you've got to get the value, right? And this, even at this point, is still a lot of value here. He's going to get, what, 9 damage push, or he's going to clear...
Or he can kill the 1-1 as well and just have a fewer 3-3s against them. Still push 6.
Go.
Or push 3 and kill the egg. But you push 6, I think.
Yeah, I push 6, yeah. The egg, the power of Tarim as well as its effect is that it's 3/7, which means that it requires 3 3/3s that you've created yourself to trade into it because it doesn't line up well. Or obviously 2 3/3s and an extra damage from somewhere. We're going to see the draw from the Runic Egg now. Still no Hex. No. And no AoE because it was used.
No AoE because it's so used early on.
This is what I was saying earlier. The AoE's on... It was a bit of a threat, but then the second AoE's on like almost nothing. Is huge.
Just counting up, there's 21, right? There's 15 plus 6 bonus, basically. 21 plus 4 from the weapon if needed is 25. So double heal from a Jinyu doesn't do it.
Yeah,
It would only be 24.
it's absolutely crazy. And even if it did, Tyrion. You know, it's like
Even if it did,
yeah.
but it doesn't. It's going to go 24.
Woof.
If I've done this right, I'm pretty sure I have on this occasion. It's 25.
This one time today, Lorinda, you got the maths correct. Good job.
Got there.
You get a golden star, my friend.
Awesome.
True silver champion. Let's just double check this before I confirm, though, because now I feel because Mitsuhide isn't locking it in. There we go. Yeah, all to face. That is going to clean it up. And Netherlands is going to take pretty convincing win here over Thailand, 3-1. Even the one game that they lost wasn't exactly, you know, too much of a big deal as it was the Pirate Warrior.
Yeah, and that will put the Netherlands on to 2-1. Thailand will still be on 1-1. They won their first match, so they're in an okay spot as well. Obviously, they won't be happy at this result, but they'll be okay with their overall standings after 2 matches. Netherlands will be delighted, as 2 is the area where you have a chance.
Yeah, if you
Any more than 2, you probably will get through, but 2, you can actually qualify.
Yeah, if this was a 1-2 result now, if Netherlands lost this match and went 1-2 in their group, this becomes actually very, very difficult, especially because you start to look at game score as well, and that can be a problem going in. But yeah, you know, congratulations to the Netherlands. They did take it, and that was a pretty cool series overall. Very close one for Tyler, especially. That Druid turn was very, very tight in that he just had that one turn to
And
stabilize.
had to not use the feral rage. That was the key. It allowed him to develop some minions as well as get into a range where he doesn't die, and postponed gaining that 8 armor for 2 or 3 more turns, which was just great vision that, hey, I can win this game this way. If I just gain all the armor, I don't deal with enough of the board and I will die.
Yeah, it's, and even you just look at the way the games went earlier. You know, the Priest was very convincing from Tyus. He had so many resources, never in too much trouble. And then Theo's game, to be completely fair, Pirate Warrior versus the Discover Mage. You know, he drew like Pyroblast, Fireball, Firelands Portal. He did have some early game, but there was just too much to handle from the Pirate Warrior, which is why people bring Pirate Warrior ready. So I do believe we have Tyler available for an interview. So can you hear me, Tyler?
Oh, wait, I need to turn up the sound a bit. I can hear you now, I think.
Are you sure? Do I sound okay?
Yeah, you sound okay.
Hey, Tyler, how's it going, mate?
Yeah, I'm doing great, man.
I bet.
Good, man.
I bet. So we can talk about the whole series as a whole in a minute, but specifically the game you were piloting, the Druid, that got very dicey for a moment, and you had the one turn that you stabilized on. Were you feeling confident before that turn happened, or did you think the game was lost? Because you're in a rough spot.
When I drew the swipe of the Nourish, it felt pretty good. And then I knew that I had gadgets and double wild growth and double innervate. I knew that I was in a decent spot to just like go crazy and do stuff.
The turn where
we
you
were
gained
only kind of
multiple
scared
armor.
of Tyrion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a turn where you gained multiple armor and you chose not to feral rage and you worked out you needed to develop board like 1 or 2 turns before that. That looked pretty scary.
Yeah, because he had 9 on board, I think, and we were at 15, so he would have needed 5 damage. And we had multiple reads that he didn't have consecration and whatnot, and he already used a true silver or 2 even. So it had to be a very specific combination of cards that I think was not possible.
Nice.
But I had to look at that again.
Yeah, and you know the team as a whole, how has it been playing for Netherlands, and how is it with the communication, the preparation going into each week? Because you guys have played 3 matches now within 4 weeks, and you're currently 2-1 in groups. You know, how's the whole experience been for you and the rest of your team so far?
Yeah, it's like super cool. Like so we all speak Dutch, and for us, for Thijs and I, actually, it's a bit of a change that we had to switch to Dutch because we both stream in English.
Right.
So that was a bit of getting used to. But other than that, we work really well together as a team, and we hardly ever disagree about something. And we're in a Skype group where we just talk to each other during the entire week, like before the game. And if anyone has a finding or a new deck or whatever, then they would just let us know in the group. So we're constantly, preparing our strategy.
Excellent. So you would save any strategy for this. If you came up with something for maybe HCT, what would you do then?
What do you mean?
So say you come up with something for the HCT next month for the prelims or the playoffs.
In terms of like a deck list.
Yeah. Say you came up with a new deck list for playoffs. Would you take it to that, or would you save it for Hearthstone Global Games?
I think we
Put
can
you
use
on the
it for
spot.
both, right?
Yeah,
we can
of
use it for both.
Cool.
Yeah, that confident is
not a
work,
fair
for
question.
both. But no, congratulations again, Tyler, and congratulations to your team, of course, getting the win. It's very important going 2-1 in the group. So good luck in the rest of your matches, and we'll no doubt speak to you soon.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And speak to you soon.
It was always great hearing from Tyler, and again, just hearing about the team as well. They say, I think some teams approach global games in, okay, on Saturday we'll all get together and decide what's going on. These guys like, no, we just talk. We have a group. We just talk whenever we want to talk. If something happens, it happens. We discuss it, so on, so on, so on. So great to hear some fun moments with the teamwork there from the Netherlands. And now we can check out some of the moments that led to their victory. I think the story of this game was that Thais just had unlimited value. 3 total Elise packs were in the 2 were played, 1 was in the deck by the end of the game. So much value and so much healing.
Yeah, he got double heal off his Vorax just to solidify after what, from where he was sat was probably a scary situation, although we had seen all along that there wasn't that much burn there.
And now we see the key moment here for Tyler. It's exactly what he was talking about earlier. When he got the swipe, it was absolutely clutch.
And yeah, he felt that was enough,
Yeah, he managed to just stabilize off the back of that. Even with this turn, I mean, look at Tyler's hand. Absolutely incredible. And the fact that this turn was played on a bit of a slow board meant that Tyler could actually stabilize on these turns, you can see with the Drake and a few trades, and mean that the unlimited Jade train just kept rolling and just ended up taking the game for him here.
Yeah, and obviously we've all seen this position before. You get to the point where the Jade train is rolling, is the phrase you just used.
Yeah, and Viper just run out of resources. Look, even at this point late game, he just had no cards. Tyler's drawn his deck, but then can create an unlimited deck size anyway with Jade Idols with the Gadget Zen down. As you mentioned, as I think Sal mentioned earlier, double Gadget Zen becoming more and more common in Jade now because of the loss of Azure Drake, which means that you do have the chance of that late Gadget Zen the second time round to say, okay, let's cycle. The swipe again here. Both swipes in this game were actually clutch. Very important in help stabilizing this board, with now actually going on 12 health without the armor up this turn meant that there was pretty much nothing that could come out from Viper Pro to win this game. And 11-11s, 12-12s, pretty good.
Yeah, I always feel that there's so many different graphics for the Jades, and they're kind of wasted.
I think there's like
15. I think they go up at 15 again, or 20.
Oh yeah, there's one more.
I mean,
right?
we never see the super huge, crazy Jade.
It's over. Have you've seen it though, right? Where it's like over a city sort of thing. Like the Jade's so big, it's looking down on a city. It's insane.
I think 12-12 should be about where that comes from.
But here we see the last game we saw then, I think, was a key moment. Mitsuhide actually put on some early pressure with the Murlocs, forced basically a 2-turn AoE chain out from Team Thailand. And then there was just no AoE left. There was no hexes drawn to deal with anything big. And then Mitsuhide just cashed in on that, built a board of like bits and bobs basically, but made that board threatening in itself. And with no more AoE, with not enough healing, and the help of Tarim as well, means that he pushed it through. We can check out the group and see where Netherlands stands after that victory, just under the USA. And it means that United States obviously have played 1 less match overall, so there's a chance that if United States loses, then Netherlands and themselves will be very, very close in points, although United States still have a good game record. I think they'd have to lose 3-0 to be even there. Or 3-1. But then we have Thailand in the middle, along with us, the UK in the middle as well. We've still got some more games to play at 1-1. Romania 0-2, as me and Sol mentioned at the start of the day, have a chance, but a chance. Like, that's about it. They're not feeling confident at all. Peru only played 1 match so far. So, again, once all the matches become more even, and we're into week 4 now, we can actually see that we've had the group start to spread out a little bit more.
We can actually start analysing a bit of what's going on now. Whereas the first couple of weeks, like, hey, these teams have won, these teams have lost. Now,
the first week was the best. It was like, so you can see, no one's played, and then someone wins. You're like, they are now top.
They have now played.
Yeah, the team they beat, believe it or not, are now bottom of that group because there's only that 1 match been played.
Yeah, it's starting to take shape now.
Yeah, we can check out how today went overall. This was our last series. Kicked off with Italy versus Japan. Italy looking strong, playing on a team themselves anyway. Like their own team forming the Global Games team, looking very cohesive there, going for 3-1 versus Japan. Then Belgium losing to Malaysia 2-3. Australia going 2-3 versus Russia. Russia looking very, very
That
dominant.
was a good match to watch. But if you haven't seen anything
close.
today, that's a good one to check the VODs for, I think.
And then Ukraine just Just doing Ukraine things, 3-0 in Philippines.
3-0 the team that 3-0'd Germany.
Exactly, and then we finished off with just what we saw there, Netherlands. Pretty convincing performance versus Thailand, 3-1, putting their name just under United States in terms of the groups. And I think we've actually got the schedule for tomorrow. We can check out what matches we've got coming up as then, because we've got a special treat for you as well. We don't just have 5 matches tomorrow. We're going to put in the time here and do 6 for you, so you can. What's the schedule like tomorrow, Linda?
The schedule has 6 matches on it. Starts off with Israel versus Norway, then France versus Kazakhstan. We're going to Belarus's first game of the tournament. That'll be interesting to see what they have to offer against the Czech Republic. And obviously, as you can see there, Bulgaria, Sweden. Greece, Portugal is going to be possibly the match of the day. Well, actually, no, the last match is the match of the day. But Greece, Portugal, a very interesting clash of communities there. And Romania, United States. If Romania lose that one, they are in absolute dire straits.
Absolutely huge for both teams, as I mentioned. If United States wins, they go 3-0 in their group and stays ahead of Netherlands. If they lose, they match score with Netherlands 2-1, and Romania still have a chance as well.
And Greece are 0-2 as well. So those last 2 matches tomorrow are going to be well worth tuning in for. You know, it's going to be late, but it's going to be good.
Yeah, also looking forward to Belarus, as you mentioned. Belarus, their first match, week 4 in. Just how the schedule works out, all the teams will be playing exactly the same amount of matches, so don't you worry about that. But going up against Czech Republic, Sivka, Pekrovac leading that squad, you know, looking very, very strong. Not seen too much from Belarus yet. Definitely looking forward to it, though. But it's been a glorious day today. I've loved every minute of it. We've seen a wide variety of decks. Thank you for joining me for this last cast.
It's been fun.
It's been
my
my pleasure.
All 3 games of it with no pilot one.
Yeah, and from me, Lorinda, and Saul, that is going to be it for today. We are going to be back tomorrow with those 6 matches from the Hearthstone Global Game. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.